So I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. Um, this is not in response to um, anyone or attacking anything, but I do have my perception, and this is going to be an open forum conversation that we need to definitely have a conversation about, or really have a discussion on. And I'm not really watching y'all guys. I'm actually off and about doing other things, so I'm not really looking at my screen. So let me go ahead and drop the link. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the link. Um, but yeah, I definitely um, have news, and I'm very honest and very clear and precise about it, about what I'm saying. And I do actually open for any challenging of conversation and thought. Please share the video if you can. But I actually say what I say and I mean what I say. Every woman does not need to be empowered, but depowered. And every man shouldn't have a legacy. I really do believe that. Every woman doesn't need to be empowered. Every woman shouldn't be empowered. Some of these women actually need to be depowered. And I know you're gonna have some people gonna say, "Wait, what? Well, who are you to say that?" And we're gonna actually look at it. Some of the talking points that we're seeing now from a lot of women that is coming out in the forefront that is saying very toxic and volatile things about men, about children, about society. Yes, I truly do believe these women should be depowered. I don't think they should have a voice. I don't think that they should have a following. If anything, they should actually be silenced. The same way it comes for the same way it comes down for men. I believe a lot of men should not or ever be allowed to breed, but be colorized and castrated. So I'm we're seeing these talking points. We're joined by our first honorable guest, Miss Mella. Um, welcome to the panel. How you doing?
Great esteem to you as well.
How you
I'm
doing?
terrific, just like you. I'm terrific, just like
That's
you.
good. That's good.
hmm
Um, I definitely brought this conversation um to the forefront, and I put it out there in the universe because this is a very serious topic I brought out. I truly believe every woman doesn't need. There are women that should be empowered, but there are also women that should be never be empowered, never be empowered at all, given a voice. Just like I believe the same thing for men. There are men out there that should never be given a legacy. That should be a privilege, not a right. Um,
hmm
so, what are your
Yeah,
thoughts about the topic? Go ahead, there.
I've learned a term recently in the field of psychology called continuous grieving, right?
Mm, mm-hmm,
And a lot of times, people who are in a perpetual state of grievance for something that has nothing to do with others that they spew their venom toward should not be, how can I put this, accommodated, because
mm-hmm,
they still have to clean up their house. You know what I
mm,
mean? It's like somebody that is wagging their finger at someone because they are proud that they own something, but they're still a renter. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's
Right.
like it's like it's like okay, so you just want to talk smack just to be talking smack. So you're not really interested in progress. You're
Mm,
interested in accommodating uh the opportunity to spew the vitriol that stems from your pain of unresolved grievances.
mm,
And so those people don't deserve protection.
mhm.
It's because they don't have a purpose for what they do other than seeking an opportunity to devour anybody in their path that would be a mission of vitriol. Like, some people are just on this scorch the earth mission as opposed to
Right.
actually. Yeah, so I guess to break it
Yeah.
down to a fraction, some people are just on a scourge the earth mission, and those people are not beneficial to uplift others.
I agree
If they,
with you. I
yeah, if
agree.
they're seeking to destroy, then you just got to leave them where they at.
Right. You don't have you don't we don't have to be PG-13 early this morning, Mella. I thank you for that. I'm expecting for us to break some floorboards. I don't like I'm trying to get in deep.
Oh, you
Um,
want me to be the old Mella?
I don't need I need I don't need none of that PG-13 shit. Um like I said, some of these
We have a new panelist.
um go ahead.
Good Tuesday, Mac Bones.
Good morning, and
Nice to
peace and
meet you. Hmm.
nice to meet you again too.
What's up?
And
What's up, man?
please, peace. Uh, I'm doing pretty good. Peace and blessings of the great Mac God, life be upon you.
So
The thing is,
Walaikum salam. Yeah.
the
so
thing
what
is
do you have
about,
to do?
hmm,
So what's up,
well,
Michael?
the thing about depowering certain women, like I told some brothers time and time again on the panel behind the scenes, if you're going to depower these women, you got to depower the white men to get them the power in the first place.
What does the
Because
power in the white? What
those
does the power? Now, what does the power in the white man have to do with the power in women?
Yeah.
I'm talking about the white men who made the laws that provide them with Section 8 food
Okay,
stamps, and also
okay.
Okay.
provide them a place at the table of the Democratic
How
Party
else? Okay. With
with
all due
support.
respect, if you can believe
Yeah.
that, what does that have to do with anything other than making sure children are fed?
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's
I
what it
don't get
was
that.
Well,
about. It was about
let,
children
let,
being
let, let,
fed.
let, let let me explain further. Because these dysfunctional black women accepted feminist policies supported by the DNC, the Democratic Party, which pushed strong black men
Okay.
out of the.
Didn't it have to
Let me
do with feeding
let
children?
me finish. Let me finish. These are the reason why the children are dysfunctional and abused and not fed because strong black men were pushed out of the home, which made sure that the children were fed in the first place.
All right. All
Because
right. I'm gonna give you.
back then when they started this,
Let him finish his thought, Mel. We can look at it. Go ahead.
Yes, sir.
back then when they started this welfare daddy system, one of the rules was you cannot have a man in the home because these agents of the welfare state would come into their house to make sure that the man was not there. Because if there was a man there, they would not receive the welfare assistance.
Okay, is that not fair?
Well,
No. So I'm just saying,
that's
like,
the no, no,
it,
that's the reason why the black man was pushed out of the home in the first place.
so you think so? Was the
And
white man still in the home when they were getting welfare?
well, the thing was that rule didn't apply to the white families.
How do you
Those
know that?
white women were allowed to get a pass. They were allowed to
Wait,
get a pass because the thing about it, welfare wasn't meant for black people in the first place. Because during segregation,
All
welfare
right.
was only
So
allowed to be given
since
to
we
white
didn't have
people.
a, since we as at the history of black women in that particular era, that particular era that you speak of, since
Yeah.
there wasn't a choice, why is it our fault?
because nobody pointed a gun to your head to make you make that choice.
Okay, no,
Period.
okay,
And they
okay.
were, and let me
Wait, wait,
finish.
wait.
And there was also some weak, effeminate simp shadow men that supported that mess too. I
Okay.
blame the weak men and the weak women behind this.
Who was going to
You also
feed?
have weak black men that supported that democratic mess in the first place.
Who
So
was going to feed the
I'm talking
children?
about dealing with the source of the problem, man. I'm
okay,
dealing with the
okay.
source of it.
And
So I
another thing, right? Give me a moment, please. Another thing, right? You know the WIC program was started by the Black Panthers. God bless the brothers, right? Now, how is it
Right.
that for some strange reason the federal government took that over and gives no credit to the Panthers? How is that?
You're right. The Panthers started the free lunch program and all that. And the reason why they did that was to take power away from the Black Panthers, to keep the Black
But
Panthers
why
from
did
producing
they
strong Black
allow
communities
the power to be taken away?
so they can gain more power, so they can
The
like
Black
boost up their
Panthers
ego. So that
allowed it.
no, they
See,
didn't
see,
because
here's the thing, right?
no, they
Here's the
didn't.
thing.
They're sending the LA Police Department to assassinate certain Black Panther leaders like Fred
Okay,
Hampton.
okay,
The
okay.
Black
Check
Panthers didn't
check
allow
this
that. There were certain leaders that were put in jail. Some would assassinate like Fred Hampton.
out.
Those Black
Okay,
Panthers didn't allow that. The reason why I
okay,
know this because I got Black Panther members in my family from back in the day, Compton, California, to be
okay.
exact.
So it's safe to say that something can overpower someone. Because if the Black Panthers were getting assassinated in mass to the point where
And
they just
incarcerated.
said, you know what, you got it, then how is it that we were supposed to feed the children after the Black Panther said, you know what, you got it, since you killing us, you got it? You know, if you all as Black Panthers, and I'm just speaking hypothetically, if the Black Panthers were so overwhelmed with the enforcement against them, where they just drove back, said, you know what, you got it. So here we have children. We have children, Black children, beautiful Black children that need to be fed. What were we supposed to do, sir?
You're supposed to be strategic, calculating, and tactical about certain things. You also have to learn how to fight from the shadows as well, if
Okay,
need be.
but the Black Panthers didn't fight. They said, okay, you got it.
There was some that did fight, and
No,
there
not
are
to the
some that are
point.
fighting today. There
If
are
that
some
if
that's still
that
in
was the
exile, like
case,
Asada Shakur in Cuba.
if
Okay,
that if that was the case, there would not be a WIC program. There would be a Black Panther children's feeding program. They did not continue the fight. Period. And I apologize. I'm not being I'm not having an attitude.
no, no, that's fine.
I'm just not secure in my microphone. I've listened to myself, and it's like my microphone is kind of dull or something. So I'm making. Am I too loud? Because I
No,
don't
no,
want to
no,
be
no. Yeah,
disrespectful.
no, Mela, you're fine. You're fine. I'm trying.
Okay.
So I want to understand this. Um, so you're talking about that the wealth that we should attack the white man's system, and
no, what I'm
literally,
saying,
but
no.
now, believe it or not, you as a black man were born in the system. How do you attack something that you literally are a part of? You know, you're
Well,
on YouTube, you're on all this other stuff. What system of power do you have to take anybody off to make them want to join your system? What system do you have?
well,
You got to have another power to equivalent to exchange that power that you're trying to get people off of.
well. First of all, that system has to be built from within strong Black communities, and it has to start back with
Mhm.
the Black family. Because, like I said, time and time and again, healthy men and healthy women produce healthy families, which lead to produce healthy communities and healthy nations. Family is the foundation of civilization.
Mhm.
And the thing is, we have a lot of sick men and women in this space that need holistic psychiatric care and holistic therapy, according to the teachings of our ancestors. Olmec, and Nubian and Kemetic.
Okay, I
What
don't
would
have.
that
I
holistic
say,
what would that
ma'am,
holistic tree, what
let
would
me
that
finish.
consist
Let,
of?
let me finish, and I'll explain it to you.
What is,
It first has to deal with like your diet, being able to be meditative about certain things, and also be mindful of the principles of the Hudi and Ma'at.
what is
There
any
are
of
many
that?
times. Now, there have been many times I have asked these so-called back to Africans and Hoteps what are the principles of Ma'at and the Hudi, and all I got was crickets. Yet they
Okay.
claim to be knowing about their culture. After I tested them, they are lacking.
Now, Mac,
But
now
first,
Macbone, now
to
Macbone, hold
build
on.
infrastructure, you
Now
got to start with
Macbone,
the family.
now Macbone.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm hearing all this. I'm asking.
Yes.
So we're talking about
Yeah.
depowering talking points and certain types of agencies. Now we're hearing we're hearing. I'm listening to you saying, but I don't understand what any of
Yeah.
that has to do with Kemet and all the other stuff. If I'm literally just
No,
talking about that,
I'm just talking about. I'm talking about a foundation, a philosophical foundation
okay,
to build
but nobody.
infrastructure where we be able to
Okay,
do that.
okay. So what
Okay.
are so? So I thank you for that. Thank you. I actually agree with that, Charles. So, what are the modern requirements to fix modern issues? Like, you got to have
Okay.
something. You got to have something. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it's something of a modern thing, but I can't go back in the past. I do. Sadly, I don't have a DeLorean to jump in and ride in the past.
Right.
And even if I did, you got to have something that's going to like, hey, what do you have to wean them off of one system onto another system? I went to the military because guess what? I needed a
Right.
system of healthcare and different other stuff. Now, if you have something here for me as a young black man to say, hey, guess what? We have an equivalent exchange system. Then yeah, but if I'm asking about certain talking points,
Well, I started
hold on,
that
let
by
me
being a
finish. Let
mentor.
me
Okay.
finish.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, man.
Because we got other people
Yeah.
coming. So
Yeah. Coming in. Yeah.
I'm asking about like I believe some men they don't need a legacy. I permanently believe that. I don't believe all these
True
men.
that.
I don't believe a lot of men deserve a legacy. So I'm trying
Right.
to figure out. I'm trying to figure out that if you're having to wear certain men, I don't think they deserve a legacy or deserve breeding rights. The same thing. I
True.
don't think that certain women do not need or do not deserve that of talking points or even a right of being empowered.
True.
So what do you have what do you have for that? Like I'm not talking about no the Panthers, I'm not talking about any of that stuff, but some people don't even know what the hell any of those things are anymore. Those kind of talking points are about long since gone. You got different parties now.
Of
So
course.
that's what I'm trying to get at. We got Super Mike and we got Victor Von Doom.
Yes.
I'm gonna give Macbone. You got 2 minutes. Then after that, I got to get to Mike and I got to get it to Victor Von Doom
Okay.
on this. Go ahead.
Well, here's where I start. Since I've been dealing with martial arts for years, I've started teaching my nieces and nephews, my brother's kids, martial arts and boxing. And then, ever since I've been in Texas, in Duncanville and Dallas, I have mentored young black men in boxing and martial arts. I taught them certain things, and I taught them a certain code and philosophy to go with to help them be better men. And I realized that it has to take. It's a process of holistic, political, and psychological re-education. Because if we're going to deal with this infrastructure, our people have to be holistically, psychologically, and politically and culturally re-educated. And it has to start with the children because it's too late for the millennials and the zillennials right there. We got to go to the younger folks, which is what I decided to volunteer to do in Dunkerville, mentor 7 to 12-year-old black boys in boxing and other things.
Okay.
So that's where I'm starting at to mentor young boys and raise them into warriors.
Words for what?
But because the infrastructure starts with the children, that's where you start at. Now to go further, you learn how to solidify the cultural and economic and political infrastructure within your own community. You learn how to develop your war chest. Be able to put certain politicians in your pocket.
So you're
You
gonna
develop, I mean,
participate.
you develop a lobby with a certain strategic and tactical and calculating agenda.
So you are gonna participate in the system.
I'm participating the way that I should participate by mentoring young black boys and training
No,
them to
no,
be
no,
better,
no, 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 no,
better men.
no. If you're planning on training somebody,
Yeah,
right? A Manchurian candidate, right? Just
yeah,
like other groups do, they raise up somebody from their group to go participate in the system for
yeah,
their voice. Then that means
yes.
you're actually training somebody to integrate into the system to actually put in or insert your system. That's what you're
In other
training
words,
them to do.
in other words, you train yourself to be the scorpion that poisons the elephant, so to speak.
Well, I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna have to get back to that. We're
No.
joined.
On the
We're joined here.
proverb.
We're joined
Go
here.
ahead.
We're joined here by Mike and Victor Von Doom. Which one want to take it first? Doom. Go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna say this, bro.
Go ahead, Doctor Doom.
AKA the officer of the goddamn law. Woo! I
Woo!
woke up to get something to drink, and I'm just like, my battle head's on. Let me see what he's talking about. See, my coach always told me in wrestling, when your memories get bigger than your dreams, then you stop progressing. We can't focus on Kemet. Kemet was 10,000 years ago,
Right.
20,000 years ago. You, there are some aspects you probably can use, but mankind, we're looking at different technologies. When we're talking about black people, we're talking about a specific race of people in America. Nobody's been through what we went through. Nobody's going through what we're going through. You got to change the gynocentric nature of the black community. I've, I've been coaching wrestling, different martial arts, different stuff for 20 years. No matter how much you mentor, you are not going to beat the school system and who's in the house with them. One, before anybody, they've done studies how black mothers look at their sons as natural underachievers. They don't expect them to do far. When your own mother starts you out like that, in many of these homes, and they have what, 75, 80% of the children, and many of their mothers will teach their boys to be subservient son husbands and simps, but they will teach their daughters to be go getters. The reason why you can't go back to Kemet because you got to wrestle power away from the women.
Right.
You got to go to. We're not sending our boys to enough higher learn.
Mm,
Okay,
true.
yes, they should get a trade, but that trade is for them to pay for college, and that trade is for whatever happens. They will always have a way to make money, but the trade is not the end all be all. You don't get into a lot of these political arenas without participating in the system. Even military science dictates if you cannot command the land, the sea, and the air, you must infiltrate the system from within and make it your own.
Yes.
And you are part of the system, regardless of whatever religious ideology you perceive. And the number one issue, even when I tell people about the Gray Faulkner Initiative,
Mm,
how are you going to come up And you tell these mothers, because I have to say it, they are the majority share owners of the children.
Yes.
Who you pick as a father determines what you think of that child.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. Who you pick as a father determines really what you think of that child. Because when you don't have a father in the house, look what you bring. You usually will have an undisciplined child, a child with behavioral issues, a child who's unbalanced and unhinged, because they've noticed that mothers tend to coddle and try to bargain when fathers are like, no, this is the discipline, and we'll punish our goddamn selves to make sure you learn the way. So one of the issues that we have is that the mentality of our people is skewed.
True that.
And when you actually look at it, you're gonna have to push your males. People may get upset and say, well, you're taking away from the females. No, but at the same time, if you take the provider roles, guess what role you've taken? You
Do
want to
you
be
have?
equal to a
Taking
man.
rulership of the
Let
house.
me, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Doctor Doom. Do you think that some of these voices are now starting to get dangerous or volatile?
Of course, it's dangerous and volatile because one, think about it. A man with no purpose is dangerous. A woman without a man is vulnerable. Okay?
Mm,
Look how it is. What good is an infantry without the artillery covering its ass?
mm.
You feel me?
Right. I'm
Yeah.
listening.
So what good is the airborne if you don't send in fucking troops to bombard?
And what good is that without the intelligence to find the target? Without the intelligence.
Right. So when you when you actually strategize, look, I have a friend who I'm dating. She always said you worry about gender roles. And you know this, BMT. I made a show that says gender roles don't exist until they're needed.
Hmm.
And I said, you know what?
True that.
Huh? Go ahead.
No, it's a good show. It was a good show.
Yeah. And I
Very good.
said, here's the crazy part. What I told her, I said, so if there was a noise in the house and we're both laying in the bed, who's gonna answer? And she said, well, I'm single. Yeah, no, answer the question the way the question was presented, please. And she said, well, you. So that's a gender role. So if the car broke down and we're in the car, who's fixing the tire? Well, you. I said that's a gender role. So I don't see too many of these homegrown feminists going to take the asses of Ukraine to go kick some Russian ass either, do I?
No.
Mm.
So we need to stop fooling ourselves on their certain roles. Now, I'm not saying women aren't important. I'm just saying that they've been led a lie and astray to the roles that they were not supposed to produce or receive. You can't think about it, there's no vacuum in nature. You can't take the provider role and not expect it to provide.
Right.
And that's going against a lot of women's nature. That's why they're dying of diseases of stress that men could take on like it's nothing.
Mm. That's a damn good opening. That's a damn good. Go
Hmm.
ahead. Go ahead, Super Mike.
You
Go
know,
ahead,
you
brother.
know, that's
What's
why
up?
300, that's why
What's up?
300, the divorce take away from the
Hold
mothers.
on, Mac.
Let me say
Mac. Mac.
something.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let me say something real quick, man. All right, what's going on this morning, everybody? Y'all hitting hard early. But what I want to do is answer the sister's question because this is the problem what I see with a lot of the brothers. Because you're talking about power, and of course, to create that imbalance, you're dealing with you're dealing with an opposing force, which is your government, which is the system that you're trying to participate in. But elements of that system oppose your objectives. So you have to be real smart in how you handle everything. And a lot of our talking points repel the women, and we fall into the trap, which is set by opposing elements in the system who are against us. And that's what I think a lot of us pretend we forget, or we just choose to ignore for some reason. You know, your talking points have to sound safe to the women. You know, we got to balance these talking points out. And the reason why it's not about simping and everything, but just like the sister said, she said, how is those children were supposed to get fed? Even though the Panthers tried to feed them, you killed them. Excuse me, the FBI, killed them, destabilized them, so they couldn't feed those children anymore. Them sisters, they're just like, how the kids gonna get fed? They don't care. How are you failed? Are you a failed man? Okay, well, let me go to the government and do what they say. And this is the issue. It's just nature. We got to solve that problem. And so the only thing I was saying is it's good for us to, I don't know about going way back to Kemet and stuff. I mean, that's fine if there's a principle there, but like the brother said, we got to make it work now. And a lot of those fraternal societies, we don't even remember, like, there's a lot of stuff that, before welfare, like you said, it wasn't just the Panthers. Black people actually provided welfare for each other, provided insurance for each other. We provided school for each other. And so those histories got to be looked at and to see who made the mistake in giving up what we had to exchange for the government. Who made that mistake? Because that's what we need again, because that's pretty much how we were able to control our communities. That's the reason why way back in the 50s and 40s and stuff like that, Black folks had such we had a better moral compass. I'll say it that way. It wasn't just because of church, but it was because we didn't have the infighting with the feminist movement and the males against the females that the white people had. We didn't really have that in our community. That kind of just came up after, like you said, the feminist movement started approaching the Black women and all that. Yeah. So, but that was after they had, at the same time, they were destroying our ability to provide. So we need to really see, like, okay, who made this mistake? Okay. Who made the mistake is, who made that mistake?
Now,
I'm just going to say this real quick, because you were historically incorrect about the Black men not finding jobs, because even the Monahan Scissors pointed out, when the jobs in every other race went up, the welfare went down. When Black men were getting more jobs and more opportunities, the welfare went up. Why? Because the woman chose it. It wasn't the man couldn't provide, she chose it. They wanted their independence. They wanted their so-called freedom.
My point exactly.
You could look back in the 80s when they interviewed a bunch of single mothers who were probably teenagers or probably not even older than 20. And they were asked, isn't it more important to have I don't want to have to take care of a child and a man. I don't want to be under no man's rule. And they got their wish. See, we can't alleviate that. They had a choice.
Okay. All right. Now, if you go back and look at the interviews of the women during the 70s and the 60s, in the 70s and the 60s, they were like, I'm with my man. So we got to understand, as men, okay, there was a strategic campaign that was able to produce the girl talking in the 80s differently than the women talking in the 60s and the 70s.
let's go back to history again. The feminist movement was modeled after black women. They even said that the freest people in America are white men and black women. So white women did not hold the power that black women held in their families since slavery. Not even close. And they modeled it
Well,
after.
there's a lot of hidden history. I'll say it that way.
And
Because like I said, and what I'm saying is there's a lot of society, which if you look up those fraternal societies like TRM, you know, or the Odd Fellows, and there's a lot of history that black people and black men, black families, when we owned land, we were providing welfare to our own people.
let's look at it honestly, right? When we came out of slavery, we owned 1/2 of 1% of the wealth. In today's time, we own 1/2 of 1% of the wealth. Only difference, you can't say that we were better off when, yeah, we had schools, but how were those schools? Were those schools highly funded? No.
Yeah, they were
No.
better.
As a matter of fact, majority of black people didn't even go past the 8th grade.
It didn't matter because
A lot
we
of, a
end
lot
up
of black people, 70% of black people are in poverty, man. It's not how
look.
you feel. You gotta go by what was and what is.
I
We,
am, and that's
we live
why
in- the
I'm
only
naming.
the only difference, because we look at families and we said, well, we owned a lot of land.
Let me ask you one question real quick before you finish that. I'm gonna ask you this question. Black people routinely back in like the 50s, the 60s, routinely had 10 children, 15 children for a family. You know, men and women had 15, 10, 12 children. How did those children get fed before welfare?
One, a lot of children, they had all those children because children died off a lot. You didn't have the vaccines and the health care that we have now, do we? Two, a lot of those children were made to put to work. See, we forget about history where
You
this
talking about
whole
back in the days of sharecropping, right?
people were still sharecropping in the 50s and the 60s.
That's
The,
true.
edu-
In the
the
South.
education system was really, really low. You got to remember that separate but equal was never fucking equal. Not once. When did they give us equal facilities? When did
They didn't give us anything. We made it ourselves. That's the one I'm
even when
talking
we
about, the hidden history.
even when we made it, guess what happened? It was still not up to par.
It
We
was
didn't
better
produce.
than theirs. We
We
lived
didn't produce.
better. We lived better.
We how
And
did we
that's
live better?
if you look research
How?
the I'm telling you right now. Research the independent black towns. Okay, there's
Rosebud,
over
People's Grocery in
60s.
Memphis, Tennessee,
There was
and the Black Wall
many
Street
of them.
Telephone Mall.
You're
There
talking
was
about
many. There was
you're talking
look,
about towns, and this goes back to the same thing I
that's
said.
where we lived. That's
You're
where our
talking
people
about
lived.
the reason why you lived there because you couldn't go anywhere else.
Because it was better.
It was
It was
it
better.
was not.
Our towns.
If it was
Okay.
better, guess what? I'm going to explain this to you. Those towns would have been properly defended. So
Now
when
that's where we're going into the history because
because they were
we
not
had
better,
they
because
were better. They were better
I'm
and
going to
they
put
were defended. Now
I'm going to put it
I'll
to you
prove
this
to
way, right? I'm going to put it to you this way, right? How much property did your grandfather and great grandfather have? And that was it on something that was built out of brick?
my great grandfather they had property down there in Alabama in Prattville. They still
So
have
so in other words, does even the house that he built still exist?
Yeah,
So in other words, how big was it?
it
Is
was a
it
whole. It is. It is at least 20 acres of land.
but at the same time, what is developed on it?
Right now, the old house that they had over there is messed up. It's not there anymore. But
Exactly.
the family still owns it, and the family has started moving into Tuscaloosa, into other little
So,
parts of
so in other
Alabama.
words, so in other words, we had no true developments overall to
Dude,
sustain an entire race of people.
yeah, we did, and this is what I'm saying here, because there are specific towns, there are specific instances and names of individuals and people that we can name that we did have. Now the thing is, what the problem was, according to me, what I'm looking at is we had the desire to integrate. That was
Um,
the issue. We had
see,
the desire to integrate, but we didn't have to.
now you, now I see where you coming from. Okay, we're gonna stop the bullshit about the desire to integrate.
We did have the desire to integrate.
Black people didn't want to be around white people. Black people wanted to be treated like everybody fucking else. It wasn't a
Bro,
desire to be with Miss Ann or to be with Mr. Tom. No, no.
They want to be
yeah,
treated like equal human
They want
beings,
to
human
first and
rights.
foremost. Well, we doing
Yeah,
better. You had fucking soldiers coming home from World War II being lynched.
exactly.
The first fucking place they integrated ever was the fucking military in '47.
true that.
So how the hell can we say we have it better?
We desired it though.
No,
That's
no,
what
no.
I'm
We
saying. This was the
desired.
mistake.
No,
As
no,
a
no,
group,
no,
as
no,
a
no,
group,
no, 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 no. We
that's a
desired the
fact,
right to
brother.
be a human
That's a
being.
fact.
That's
It's
not
a
a
fact,
fact.
brother.
That's
I
not
can
a
prove
fact.
it. I
Prove
can
it, please.
easily prove this to you.
Prove it,
Easily.
because we didn't
As
want to
soon
be white people.
let me I'll tell you how I can
Yeah, don't
prove
give
that
me some.
we
Don't give me some bullshit you
no,
heard on the
listen,
YouTube.
listen, bro. I mean, first of all, y'all gotta actually try to have a decent, respectful
We're having a
conversation if we're
decent
dealing, you know what I'm
conversation,
saying?
but don't give me this.
Yeah.
We wanted to
Wait a
integrate with
minute.
white people because majority of black
We
people still live around black
hold
people.
on. Hold on. We desired to integrate because as soon as white people allowed us to come into their institutions to purchase from them, all of our institutions closed down because black people, too many of us, felt that it was a step above our stuff.
No,
And
that's not
we
true.
had money. It is. We have
That is
money,
not true because number one,
dude.
the reason why their businesses fell under is because you're competing against people who are incorporated.
Okay. But you
Like you're gonna
compete.
go because one,
Okay.
when you barely can make it and you can get the same items for cheaper, where you gonna go?
Look,
Let's
you
talk about
grew what you grew. That's not how most communities do. A lot of
that's not what most
communities,
people do.
if you have a Chinese Asian community, you have an Indian community, you have a they're going to still patronize their own group of people.
And they're gonna
And even
patronize other people as well. Because I've seen a lot of Chinese boys ride other people's cars, live in
they
other
will,
people's houses.
but they are not going
Yeah,
to they're not
guess
going to
what?
let their own stuff go out of business. That's all I'm
Guess
saying.
what? Because guess what? Who does every immigrant start their business in?
The
Where?
black
Now,
neighborhoods.
now that's happening now because
No,
we
it's always
lost our
happened because we
infrastructure.
weren't
No, it
allowed to go to
didn't.
white. They weren't allowed to go to white neighborhoods and start businesses.
There
They
weren't
never
They was only
did.
allowed
immigrants.
to start in the
They,
black neighborhoods. That was the '70s.
they
So,
didn't
so
allow immigration until like 1915. Really, they didn't really allow
we're
too much
they
immigration.
allowed a lot of damn immigrants in there, especially the
Well, they
ones who were white. Why do you think they gave
exactly. Yeah,
reparations
that's
to the
true.
Italians? Why do you think they gave the reparations to the Italians and Irish? They gave the Italians the fire department and the Irish the damn police department. Why
That's
the
right,
hell?
to control us,
Not
keep
even to
us under
control.
control.
It's just to give them a job. You're middle class. So
No,
here's my crazy here's the craziness of it all. We didn't want to be around white people. We really didn't.
Uh,
Why would you
we
want to
wanted
say
to integrate their. We wanted to integrate their
no?
stores.
Because guess what? We didn't
That's a
care.
fact. That's a fact.
We
That
didn't
was a
care
fact.
about their stores.
That's a
Here's the
no. That's
crazy
not true.
part. We wanted to go to wherever the
The
fuck we
white
want to
man's
go.
ice is colder.
Guess
That
what?
is an old saying. That's an
Here's the
old
craziest
saying.
part. Here's the craziest part, right?
Hmm.
You keep on saying that we wanted to be around white people, but
I said we wanted to integrate their
we don't want
businesses.
to integrate with them. We
It
wanted
is
the
a
rights
fact
to
of
human
history.
beings. It's not a fact of history.
The
We
people that
didn't
lived, they
care.
made a joke. There was a running
We
joke
didn't
back then.
care
The
about.
white man's ice is
Back
colder.
then in the 60s, the Nation of
Oh,
Islam said it'd be better if black people still have their own separate community during the
well,
60s.
we had to
That was
talk
Here's
them.
the
that was
crazy part.
opposed to what Martin
Here's
Luther
the
King was
crazy
talking
part.
about. There
You
was still a
still
percentage of
do.
black people that wanted to have their own thing, separate from
You
white
still,
folks.
you still
And only a
do.
small
But guess
percentage
what?
of black people wanted to integrate. Only a small percentage of them wanted to integrate.
No,
Black
brother,
But
people,
most
that's
of the black
not
people wanted
true.
to keep
The
black
their
people
own
majority.
said,
economic
One
infrastructure
at a
because that's
time.
power.
One at a time. One at a
you got to
time.
realize this truth, right? Even in
See, we
today's
can't
time,
accept the facts though, and that's the hard part
no, you
because
didn't
we
come
want
with
to.
any facts. Because
No,
if
no,
that
I
was
did.
true,
I
if
told
that
you. I
was
told you
true,
names.
if
I
that
told
was
you
true,
names of organizations.
guess what? You could tell us names of organizations, but guess what?
But
Let's look at population historically. Black
okay.
people have to live around black people.
Well,
Today,
yeah.
black people live predominantly around black people. So your definition of immigration is not true. We didn't.
No, no. I first of all,
Integration
listen.
is not
You're
true.
not get. You're changing what I'm
BMT,
saying here.
Yes,
Mhm.
ma'am.
BMT.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to log off. What I'm hearing is rumination about historical competition of thoughts and ideas as opposed to um, what would be relevant for solutions. This is not a productive conversation. They're bickering about the past instead of focusing on the future. It was nice to have spent time with you,
Peace out,
and I'll
sister.
log on again.
Yeah, yeah.
Peace out, sister.
What wrong?
Mhm.
Well, actually, BMT,
But actually,
before these two
we've
gentlemen
actually
came,
had
I
we've
did
actually
provide
talked
a
about
solution.
actually we talked about solutions, but you know,
I mean, it's a male. It's a lot of men up here, and so that's what this is kind of what I started off on saying. We got to have more balanced conversations
I was the
because you're.
first one to arrive to the panel, sir.
I
Well,
don't
no,
That's
care
the
that's
who's
what.
the
No,
respect.
no.
last one to arrive to the panel.
Well, no. She was,
I
and
don't
that's the
care
Yes, she
who's
thing.
the
was the
last
first one.
person.
Yes.
It doesn't mean your idea is the only one.
What well, that's what I was saying too. It's like we gotta figure out how to have a conversation where the women feel safe, in
No.
that conversation. I mean, if you don't
See,
do it,
see,
then you're
that's
losing.
that's part of it. That's
You
part of
can't
the issue right there, right?
see, yeah, you can't.
Guys want to have conversations and make women feel safe. You've been doing that for
You
the last
got to.
80
You
years.
have to.
You
You
don't have
have
to.
to. You
You don't have
lose.
to.
You lose. Your
What are you
strategic
losing?
loss.
What
When
are
you
you
lose
losing?
your women, you lose your
You've
whole
already
community.
lost
You
your
lose
women.
control.
You've
So
already
this
lost
is
your women.
okay. Okay.
You've
That
already lost them.
happens. That
Brother, we
happens.
lost our women since 1965. What are you talking
See,
about?
You
this
Okay.
is
We
lost
lost
this
our
them.
women
is
since
this is that
1965.
pessimistic mindset
That's
that
not a
keeps us
pessimistic
behind.
mindset. That's
That is a
historically
pessimistic
accurate.
mindset.
No, that's pessimistic
It's
because every time you
mediocre
tell the
and
truth to a woman,
pitiful.
this is what you get. This is the pathetic stuff that you get. This is the reason why I
Yeah.
don't believe in
See,
talking and being nice. This is pathetic. This
yeah,
is
what
Yeah.
pathetic
what it
because when you
is
tell the
you're
truth,
ruminating about your
no, your woman,
failures
guess
as
what? Your
opposed
woman,
to having a vision about the future.
guess
Where
what?
is the
Guess
future?
what? You got plenty
Where
of
is the
men who had a
future?
vision of the future, and guess what
This
y'all did?
back
Y'all
and
went to
forth
go chase welfare.
bickering about the
No,
past is
and
ridiculous.
guess
Where
what?
is
We're
the
bickering
future?
about the historical
Where's
fact.
the
So why
future?
why the
That's
hell
my
should we
only
build a future
respectful
when we left
question.
the
Where's the
future?
future? I'm going
Why
on
should we
mute.
build a future for a bunch of broads
Ruminate
that
on
left
that.
the future? Why should we do that? You
Hey,
chose.
brother, yeah, if I may say so, I do have a solution. You got to start with the psychological health of the men and women. When I look at these spaces, I look at feminism and MGTOW incel. they're both bad for our people. And I said it many times. You got to start with the psychological framework of our people. That's where the solution starts. Because both black men and black women are sick. I remember my cousin Loretta Bratchett was over there at Little Rock Community Mental Health Center. She said that the most difficult patients she had dealing with was not only black women but black men. You got to start with the mindset, because culture is based on a collective mindset.
I'm gonna ask you a question. All right.
All right,
Yeah, bro.
go ahead.
Dude. Okay, so I wanted while he's getting this thing squared away. The thing about it is, I'm looking at now
Yeah.
the
Now,
there are voices that are growing. You understand me?
yeah,
And I can't go back. I can't listen, man. I wasn't here when all these things started. I probably will be dead probably by the time it ends. I'm realistic about that. But I have to start making preemptive plans. You know, the
right.
best way I can deal with having better women is I have to raise better girls. I don't mind going down and and raising my daughters. I teach them how to deal with honorable men. I teach my sons how to be honorable men. We have a lot and I'm probably going to do a talk later on, probably today, about there's this surmountable weight put on to a lot of young men and women that they have to change the world. And I'm like, dude, like we barely have, a cigarette and a goddamn bottle of water to get by. Like, come on, man. Like, you got to be fair with this on how, you know what I'm
Yeah, we
saying?
got to be fair, right? We
Like,
can't overwhelm the children with the weight of the world on their shoulders to compensate for us sleeping on the job. Because I hold my generation, my mother's generation specifically, to account for why things were not maintained on a trajectory of power and enhancement and global presence. We just got our good government jobs, good government cheese, and just laid back and watch Good Times, as opposed to actually maintaining the mentality that these people were never for us. They will never be for us, ever. We thought we
So
was
now
cool
you're talking
in
about
the
the
game.
baby boomers, right? You talking
well,
about the baby boomer
Absolutely.
generation?
And
well,
my
yeah,
Okay.
generation too. My
yeah, like,
generation as well.
Generation X, right?
I'm the daughter of a
Generation X,
baby boomer. So I'm
right?
definitely one of the ones that sat back and listened to Kool and the Gang and Keep Sweat and thought that life was going to be all right and prosperous no matter what. Instead of focusing on civics, instead of focusing on economics, because I had a good government job, it's not about that. It's about being prudent. Prudence, being prudent means that you have your eyes on the future. And when you look at the past and you know that what they did to us means they never mean any good for us, you will be prudent. You will have your children focused on, don't let these folks fool you, because they enslaved our people. So I know you comfortable, you got a penthouse, you driving a Range Rover with a good government job. Don't let these folks fool you, because they enslaved our people. You need to stay focused on things that elevate you globally so nobody will ever enslave you or your children again.
People
Thank you
you
for
know,
are
listening.
How
I
many
had
people
a
are grateful and have a government job that are black?
go ahead, brother.
See, we gotta stop doing these extremes and go down to the medium average again. Okay? The issue
Oh,
is
what are you hating on now, Officer Charles?
I gotta hate on the damn thing. You prove my point every time. So
Okay.
the point being is that here we go with these extremes, That number one, not everybody's gonna make it.
As opposed to ruminating on the past and debating what history you know that doesn't
Yeah,
mean anything civically. It doesn't
because
mean
You know,
anything
Charles,
civically.
this is
Your
the
you know,
failure.
Charles,
debates,
that sort of remind me of what my martial arts teacher told me about what
Because
Buddha said about the
you
middle
do
path.
fail.
One at a time. One at a time.
This
Right.
is the reason why it's the failure of not knowing history, because you're doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
And see,
Yeah,
here's the
we
you got
already know the
here's the
history.
critical.
We
No,
have
you
to
don't.
think
A
forward.
lot of
We
people
have
do
to
not.
think forward.
Yeah, a lot of people do not.
We have to make a
Because guess
plan.
what?
We
There
have
are
to make a plan. If we keep
what? You
ruminating on the
don't have a
past,
plan.
we already know the past, okay? We already
Guess
know the
what?
past.
I'm gonna tell you something that's very, 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 very evident. The black
Where
community,
is your future plan, black man?
the
Where's
black
your future
community doesn't
plan,
have
black
one.
man?
And see, this is the reason why black men don't want to work with you, because y'all are just obnoxious.
According to you, we're not supposed to work. That's your role.
Guess
So what
what?
are you talking about?
Yeah,
You're
no,
looking to
no, women
win
are supposed
over
to work.
somebody that's not your
Women
enemy,
are
sir.
supposed to work, but
You're
you're
looking
not
to win
supposed to
over
do
somebody that's not your enemy,
that.
and that's
This
your
is not
problem.
what you
You're
should work for.
ruminating
And
on
this is the
stuff
reason why you
that has
can't.
nothing to do
Because
with
you
your
want to try
future.
to over talk a goddamn man instead of listening to one.
You're ruminating
Shut
on the
up and
past.
listen to one. But that's the reason why the goddamn plan doesn't work. Because of these overbearing, obnoxious, angry bunch of sisters who don't want to listen to a damn thing. That's why I said earlier, y'all
I'm gonna
chose the
listen to
damn
another
government.
history lesson.
You
Okay, no
chose the
problem.
damn government. You chose the damn government. You didn't
Another
choose your
history
damn
lesson.
man. Stop the damn
Another
lies.
history lesson. Where's your
Because guess
plan?
what? The reason why we
Where's
go
your
back
plan?
to history is so we don't have to
Where's
listen
your
to the damn
plan?
lies.
Where's your
We don't
plan
listen
for
to
the
the
future?
lies. We got
Where's
a
your
plan.
plan
Guess
for the
what?
future?
Here's the plan. We can't
Heard
work with you.
enough history lessons. Where's your plan for the
Here's the
future?
plan. We can't work with women like you.
Okay, so be it.
So be it. We can't work with women like you.
let me say something, and I'm gonna say it this way: people have different personalities, and it's nothing wrong with it. Ain't nobody wrong. It's just like it's a group of men that might not be able to work with this group of ladies, and there's another group that can work. It's all about production. Now, what I will say, sis, is that the future is nothing more but the history, recalculated, because nothing that we can do hasn't been done already. It's just we just got to do what actually worked instead of doing what didn't work. So that's the reason why every college, every school that's worth anything, they have a whole classes on history. They force our kids to learn history.
And brother, that's why I said at the beginning, we got to be strategic, tactical, calculating, and practical about these solutions.
Now we're
Now,
talking.
that's why that's why now the reason why I started with the historical framework, so we have an understanding about how we got led up to today. That's what I started with. I dealt with a roadmap to the solutions, and in order to deal with the roadmap, you got to start with what you came from, which is the past. Not getting stuck in it, but having a proper understanding of the past, so you can properly understand the present and properly prepare strategically for the future.
Right, because you got to know where you made the mistake. Where the mistakes were made.
Now that you know where you made a mistake, now you got to deal with the psychological framework of why you made that mistake. What was the intent of making the mistake in the first place? So, here's the thing about feminism. It had a twofold strategy. For white women to gain more power in the white power structure, and also for white women to take more of the advantage of affirmative action away from black women. That was the twofold purpose of that. Now, the thing about black women, your true strength is in your true femininity. That's where your true strength lies. But that white liberal feminist lied to you, saying you didn't need that man. Once you understand the purpose of the lie, you can understand the advent of the truth. So here's the solution where I start from. When true femininity is in sync with authentic masculinity, it produces a divine intimacy, which leads to healthy men and healthy women making healthy families and healthy communities. You got to start with the family. That's where the
That
solution
sounds
lies.
great. Yeah.
Let me
It deals with the psychological health of the men and women.
they've been saying
Now,
I don't need a man way before feminism reared his ugly head.
well, the thing
Say
is,
that one more time, brother, because I didn't hear you, Mister.
I'm gonna
What's
say it for
okay,
the Negroes on the back.
okay,
Black women have been saying they don't need a man way before feminism reared his ugly head.
mm,
So once again, I've told you they modeled feminism after black women. Now,
mm,
when you want to talk about history, you can't like let's just tell it. Black women historically were not that feminine. They were not streaking violence. They were not little dainties. They weren't. They were not taught that way. Since slavery, they were built that way. Why? To circumvent the masculinity of black men, to circumvent the authority. Now, if
yeah,
you want
yeah. Would the
real,
willingness there
if you
give
want
the
to, if
black
you
woman
want
a
a
false
true
sense of
plan,
independence?
if you
Right.
want to, they've always been independent. They've always
you
been.
know, I think y'all have an issue with the way y'all communicate, and see, that's what I don't.
It's not the
It's about the
communication.
history, but it's also about the strategy too.
It's
It's
not
about the
about the.
current
It's not
strategy.
about the
Hold on,
communication. It's the fact that people
it
don't
is,
receive
brother. It
the word.
is. I don't think
It's.
you know how you sound on the other side of
I
your
know how
voice.
I sound. I know how I sound. I
I'm
do
just
this.
trying to no, listen, and that's not a diss to you because I know you saying truth, but it's like I mean, if we don't come across properly, then our words don't even matter, and that's all
See,
I'm saying.
that's the problem.
Actually,
That's the problem.
Charles, you remind
That's
me of
the,
my uncle Lester, so to speak.
that's
So
the problem.
he was a hardcore dude too.
It's
That's the
hard to
problem
understand that.
in
Yeah.
black women historically, right?
Yeah.
You've been talking nice to your women for all this time. Where has it gotten you?
What do you mean talking nice? This man is suggesting introspection. And you're
Nobody's
saying
talking to you. That's one. That's one.
somebody is talking
That's
to me
one.
because he
Nobody's
let me on
talking
the
to you.
panel.
No, they
He let
weren't
me on the
talking
panel.
to you.
This is
You
not
just
your
started to
channel.
hit.
How about that?
I don't
I'm
care if
going
it's
on
not my
mute.
channel. Nobody's
BNT, out
Calm
of
talking to
down,
respect
you.
for you,
calm down,
I'm going
This
on.
is
calm
the
I'm
down.
going
whole
on
thing
mute
about you, Mel. You come all the time to people's channels and you
all
disrupting,
the
over
time. You've been
talking.
following
When
me.
you come, nobody's following. You come to people's
Then what
channels.
you mean by all
I'm
the
for them.
time?
You
See,
do
you
this
don't
every
have a
time
sense
you're
of
on a panel.
introspection,
You over talk
brother.
people.
That's why you
You go
talk
to this.
kooky. You
No, you're
talk
going
kooky
about it.
because
You're
you have no
obnoxious.
concept
Like I
of
said before,
introspection.
you're just
It
obnoxious as
makes you
hell.
incompetent
You're
when you speak
obnoxious
and
as hell.
ruminate about
Nobody was speaking
historical
to you.
facts
You
that we
brought
already know
yourself
when you
into the
should introduce a
conversation again.
plan. Talk about
Guess
your
what?
Faulkner plan, brother.
Guess
Do
what?
that. Talk
I
about your
can do
Faulkner
that.
plan.
I've done it
Do
many a
that.
time because if we go by your plan, we'll be fucking against the wall again anyway.
Yeah, if
Yeah, that's the reason why. And this is the type of black woman we're supposed to lead.
talk
Get the hell out of here.
about your Faulkner
Now,
plan, brother. Stay
so
focused, brother.
I've been focused the whole time.
so
Get out your
Sure you
feelings.
have.
listen,
Oh,
bro.
sure you have. Get
Sure
out
you
your
have.
damn
That's why
feelings.
the word woman
Weren't
and
you supposed to
feminism
be
came
leading?
out your mouth
Weren't you
several
supposed to be
times,
leading
right?
30 minutes ago?
You're not
Chill,
focused.
Weren't you
chill,
You're
supposed to
focused
lead
on
30 minutes
revenge.
ago? You know,
chill,
sunrise is coming up, Dracula.
Oh,
chill.
you've
Listen,
been
you
you've
guys,
been
you guys, you guys.
you've
Come
been
on,
listening
guys.
to me.
Hey,
Maybe
I
you'll
got to
learn
get ready,
something.
y'all.
Oh,
But
You have been
no, I
listening
got
to
to get
me.
ready for work and everything. That's a good little conversation, but you should have had this a little later, BLT.
Hey,
All
Mel,
right, y'all. Peace.
Mel, let me ask you something right quick, Mel. Mel, let me ask you something right
Yeah.
quick. You remember when we first met on Platinum Elite's panel,
No more, no
Stop
more.
Being Beta? Now let me ask you this:
Yes, sir.
what was the energy that we encountered when I first talked to you? Describe it.
Pleasant.
Okay. Now, when you was up there being a bit boisterous toward me, did I let that get to me and became louder toward you, or did I became smoother to you?
No, because you're a real man.
Oh, here we go.
And there's this old saying that Ron Wills, shout out to him, gave to me. He said, "Steel hand, velvet glove. Steel hand, velvet glove." Now, I learned from my Uncle Slate that you can have a gentle touch with a strong intent, and then with women. You don't necessarily have to like be overbearing or like be a thuggish about it. But what I'm saying is this: you got to start with the foundation. The foundation is the family. But in order to have a healthy family, you got to have healthy men and healthy women. And what I learned from these spaces, the neural wires are static and misaligned. So we got to have a better dialogue. Now, as far as my experience, I learned that the women I get along with, black women, are younger black women, younger than me. They wanted to listen. I remember last night at work, I had a discussion with a young black lady. She was in her 20s. And we had a discussion about how feminism has not worked for black women. Feminism has made black women to be an effective tool. Like Hillary Clinton said a long time ago, black women are my firewall. That was not a compliment at all. And then rather than she said that, she did the chili sauce with Roland Martin at that Democratic function. That's the thing. It's not about political ideology. It's about the influence. It's about how you can powerfully make things happen in an unseen and direct way.
See,
Yes.
That's how it works. That's how it works. Getting the right people in your pocket.
This is the biggest.
Like being part of the infrastructure, right, Charles? Beating up with the right people, right?
This is the biggest issue, right? Because when you're dealing with obnoxious women, you're never going to get shit done. We're just going to put it out there. See, a lot of
Says
black
the
men.
man that says "woo" everywhere. You're comical,
Whoa!
dude. You're comical.
And and you got a mustache because you're
And
awfully manly.
Yeah, how
And
abysmal of you. What an abysmal response.
No, you're manly. That's what it is.
What an abysmal response.
This is the reason why. This is the reason why the
I'm
black
a war
men-
hero. What do you expect?
This is the you're what? Say
Never
that
mind.
again. You're what?
Never mind. I'm
You're
not
a
gonna dox
warrior.
myself. I'm
You
not
said
gonna
you're a
dox myself.
warrior. You're a
I said-
warrior. Get
I
the
said
hell out.
war hero. Hero.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hero.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I
okay.
actually contributed to things that saved our freedoms in this country.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sure you've done the same.
Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you.
okay.
Thank you,
My struggles are different than yours. Trust me.
And
we
yet you
didn't
struggle.
contribute.
Now, brother
And yet you
Charles,
struggle.
I must
What
admit,
a man, what a man, what a man.
I'm a damn good man, a damn mighty man too. But see, when we talk about women, we got people trying to say we gotta be nice. Fuck that.
Bones, I was really
that.
intrigued with your conversation.
What? Okay.
Of course you're gonna be intrigued because you like it when people kiss your ass.
No, he wasn't kissing my ass at all. You're making that up because you feel slighted.
You want somebody
Actually, I was
to
being tactful about telling the
this
truth.
audience here and later, this is what you call arrested development. Officer Charles
this is what you
is
call arrested
he's in
development.
his arrested development mode.
Why are you
He's
yelling
in
like
his
we can't hear you?
arrested development mode because I got a good microphone.
We'll
That's
say
why.
that.
I have a good microphone. That's why.
No, you don't, because you want to get to your manly structure, huh?
You are in arrested development mode, Officer Charles. Arrest yourself. Try arresting yourself.
Somebody needs to arrest your lips because I'm pretty sure the speedometer is broken.
And you need a weight reduction.
No, I don't. You need weight reduction of every goddamn thing from your lips to your hips.
That's the only comeback. See, you're not even creative.
But then again,
that's the lamest comeback ever. No wonder all you do is ruminate on the past. You have no sense of vision.
Guess what?
That was a perfect opportunity to exercise your creativity and envision something that would shut me up. And you couldn't even do that.
Hold us back.
Meanwhile, you know what I said to Mac Bone? I said, yes, sir. I said, yes, sir, to Mac Bone, didn't I? I didn't say that to you, Officer Charles. Why don't you arrest yourself? Your arrested development is showing, Officer Charles.
Why don't you put
I'm
yourself
going to mute BMT. I'm
Why
going
don't
on
you put
mute.
it up there
I
in
want to
lockup?
respect your channel, sir.
Why don't you want to
Going on
put
mute.
yourself in lockup?
Thank you.
Go get a man somewhere. I'm
You
sorry.
know, BNT, as
Yeah,
far
what's
as
up,
my
man?
experience in dealing with women, I have met some
Listen,
strong black women who got some skills, but they
let's
got to keep
step
their
away from
femininity
that.
though.
Let's step
You
away
know, I'm
from
just
that.
saying.
Okay, so
Okay, I
let's.
got you.
Okay, so
Yeah,
but like I said, one
yeah,
of the right now we're here. We're
right.
now here. Whereas to the point as we're seeing the talking points for a lot of men. A lot of men are
Yes,
feeling like they feel slighted. Like yo, like I feel like I'm getting powered down. Like there's
yes.
nothing for me to work with. And even if I do work, I get nothing out of it. I had a talk on a channel. I had a talk on the channel. And it was a pretty
Yes.
good talk. And they were like, Mr. BMT, why did you start a family? And I said, And I remember when I was young, I everybody was writing down they wanted to be a doctor, they wanted to be a fireman, they wanted a Power Ranger, whatever the hell. I said I wanted a family.
Right.
I remember when I was watching the show called The Andy Griffin Show. I'm not sure how many of y'all like to watch that show back in the day. And
Yeah, I remember that show. That's a good show.
I
Yeah.
used to be so envious. I'm like, damn, I want to be
Mm-hmm.
that kid that gets to walk outside of a white picket fence house, go to his dad who's a policeman, and and you just a respectable person in society. You know,
Yes.
whenever they usually would show our families on social media, we would always be in some struggle. And I'm like,
Yes.
what is it about that white boy that he gets to live a nice life in a white picket fence? And this is not me having no racial vitriol. It's just that I wanted my piece of sweet potato pie. I wanted mine. But then after that, I was seeing, now hear me and then watch where I'm going with this. I would
Go ahead.
see the women now. I'm watching now. I'm speeding up today. I would watch
Yes.
the women now as they have their conversations. And they talk about X, Y, and Z of fuck these men. These men are evil.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Yes.
they want power. And then I would see and I would see the men who say fuck black society, but they want to fuck the women. And I'm like, wait a second, what the fuck is going on? Like, this is madness. First of all, you
A
women can't go.
psychological clusterfuck.
You
Yeah.
exactly. You women can't go nowhere. You are tethered to us. If your men fail, which I don't understand why people brag about that. Well, the women we're winning, but the men are losing. That's not a win. I in the army, I can't win without the Air Force. I can't win. In the Air Force, they can't win without the Navy. Somebody got to bring your damn planes to the other side, and your
And
planes got to
actually, it's
drop our ass.
actually it's five.
So,
You got the Air Force,
like,
Army, Navy, Marines, and intelligence. All
so,
five.
so
Yeah.
you can't win without your other group. But when you're hearing that, I'm listening to the talking points, and people want to say, "Well, BMT,
Mm-hmm.
you're off code." I'm not, because I literally been watching and I've been listening to wherever the fuck this goddamn these talking points are coming out now. Like, don't get me wrong. I don't if a man ain't producing or ain't a progressive man that's literally trying to build, you don't need to be talking nothing about goddamn access, because all you're gonna be doing is
Right.
fucking up whatever access we got left. Let the men who are out there doing what the hell they need to do, let them build, let them have the access first. I'm very, and some people gonna say, damn BMT, that's fucked up. No, man.
Not
I know the
everybody's
white
going to
guy
be
said,
saved.
Well, actually, BMT, that's how it was in the old days. The
see,
man with the resource had the first access to the women, like in the early 1900s. That's
well,
how
see,
it was until the 1960s.
I'm like that. If
You know.
I'm busting my ass, listen, I got no problem with a brother who's flipping burgers, busting his ass, and literally actually going out there boating and doing whatever he can in his society. Yes, I do. I believe he deserves the right towards certain access towards certain towards women. He deserves respect, and he deserves a voice in his society amongst other men. But then I also have a problem with the goddamn ain't shit niggas who like, yeah, I did some fucked up shit, but I believe that no, nigga, you don't need to be talking at all. You don't need to be talking. Back to the back of the goddamn alley for you. But then I got these goddamn vitriolic women and these crazy ass bitches. These women getting the most voice. Get the bag culture. Get the goddamn slut culture. We level up culture. Like what the fuck? Like no, level down. You should not get
DMT.
past level two.
It's a culture of people don't understand the difference between settling and where your level truly is. Not everybody's gonna get a 6-figure nigga. Not everybody's gonna make 6 figures. Not
That's right.
everybody is going to be college educated. Be the best goddamn person you can be.
I
See,
respect that.
when you were in the army, how many motherfuckers were the post general? One.
One. There's only
Right.
gonna be
There was only one post general for each post. See, the problem is this. When women said we need to build and go to the future, right? I'm down with that. We'll build, but what are you building our children to be? And I've said this to many of women. People be like, why are you a little bit harder on the women? Because for decades, if not centuries, if a man couldn't fight, if he couldn't earn, if he couldn't do certain shit, he would just be called a loser. It's about time, since women wanted equality. If you can't get a man by the age of 30, you're a loser. If you can't teach your children properly, you're a loser. If you get a poor, broke ass, homosexual nigga as a baby father, you're a loser. And the reason why I'm harder is because if me and BMT go rob a bank, we're mostly going to be affected, and maybe our children. A woman fucks up her womb, she's fucking up the next 3-4 generations. And women don't understand that. You having babies by men who ain't about shit. You can't ask for leadership. The first, matter of fact, let me back up to this. You can't ask for leadership if you're not willing to fucking listen and fucking follow. You can't pick and choose when you want to listen to your goddamn leader. You can't do that. Just like men have to learn to be leaders, they have to be subordinate to another man to learn. And see, when you get away from those, that's the reason why in the Gray Faulkner Initiative, yes, you need to put your boys in the military for several reasons. One, black people always talk about going to college, but not a nigga says, how are we going to pay it?
goddamn right.
GI Bill.
Two, one of the biggest issues you have in the black society today is a lack of fucking discipline, a lack of accountability, a lack of structure. Let's say it all, a lack of hierarchy.
You know, Charles, it's pretty interesting. When young blood asked me, what is the foundation of sovereignty? I gave him these three things: self-knowledge, self-accountability, and self-mastery.
Exactly. Because first
And
and
account
foremost,
and see the problem that people have with sovereignty is that lack of accountability. They do not like what they see in the mirror. I remember I said a comment in one video. The reason why you got a lot of haters in our community because they hate what they see in the mirror.
they do. They hate what they see across the street, and it's usually another black person.
I say that I say this right here, and you know, I want you to understand this, man. I see. I know a lot of people say they want a bad bitch. I hear that from a lot of men. I deserve a bad bitch, and I say, bro, you don't want that. You
I
don't
don't.
want the you don't want the loudest bitch in the room. Keyword bitch.
Sure don't.
You don't
Well,
want that.
you don't
You
want a
don't
bitch at all.
you don't want a bitch at all. You want a good woman. You want a good woman that you can work with. Just like I hear a lot of women saying, um, I want a thug. You don't want that. You don't want that motherfucker that giving you domestic violence, bruises and shit, and all that crazy stuff. And goddamn Officer Charles got to go out there and say, "Oh shit, here they go again." I'm telling y'all, you don't want that type of smoke. You want to know why a lot of black youth are leaving the community? There's nothing there. There's nothing there. If there was literally, there's not that many jobs. There's not that many goddamn vocational resources for us to really pull out. Show me the insurance agency for us so that way we don't have to go outsource to go find. There's not even show me a black community that has their own hospital. Show me a black community that has their own goddamn clinic.
Show me a black school system.
Or grocery stores.
Or grocery store. I mean, and I'm talking about a healthy grocery store. Not no bullshit ass goddamn slop shit that knows damn well gonna put us in diabetes goddamn atmosphere. Like, I'm talking about some real shit.
Where's your Whole Foods in the black community?
See,
BMT and
Whole
Charles.
Foods is not a black company.
When I was growing up in Little Rock, Arkansas, on South Side of Little Rock, I grew up where we had a black grocery store and a black record store, and also a black clothing store around the corner and all that.
You went a lot in Baltimore, but guess what happened?
Yeah.
See, people don't realize it's not even just that. Yeah. It's the same thing that happened to why a lot of main chain stores go down. You can't get with incorporated entities. When these people are getting, for example, Walmart comes to your neighborhood. Count how many businesses get shut down. Walmart is like the Third Reich. When they come to town, they taking everything with them.
So what is it that they learned that we didn't learn?
First and foremost, because they went to different schools of thought.
Exactly.
This is the reason why
women are not training their children properly. And that is my entire point. Women are the first teachers of children, and they're not teaching their children properly. And there's a reason behind that, but I'm not in a position to speak on it.
I'm gonna say this closely to what you're saying, Mela. The reason why is because too many women are worried about being boss bitches than mothers.
I agree. I agree.
Too many women will see their fucking son. Think about this. This is what pisses me off. And usually I'm not like this on BMT's channel, but this pissed me off. How the fuck do you have a college degree and your son's illiterate?
Ooh, that's
well, you're not referring to me specifically. You're just speaking hypothetically. Because
I'm not talking to you.
He's not talking to
you. I'm talking about.
Okay, let's make that clear. You're not referring to me. Let's make that clear.
Look, we're both intelligent people. You should know me by now. If I wanted to talk
for the audience, for the audience that is not aware,
for the audience,
for the slow people in the back, let's just make that clear. You're not referring to me.
No, I'm referring to incidents that I've been a part of. I'm gonna tell you what, and this is the shit that pissed me off when that one lady came on my show when I talked about the L's black women have to carry. And there's a reason why I did the one with men first, because I know some lady was gonna come out their back pocket. You don't talk about the men. I spent 2.5 hours talking about the men. But when I come to the women, we gotta stop. And Mela just told you that one of the biggest L's that I spoke about, you don't teach your goddamn kids. You're too busy trying to get all these fucking degrees, but your son's running in and out of fucking jail. Your daughter doesn't want to work. But you all agreed up and your son can't read on level. The fuck? Like, I would.
Hey, Charles, you remember that movie Prince Under the Cherry Moon? What Jerome said? I don't want to deal with a stupid woman, because if you follow a stupid kid, you're going to find a stupid woman answer the door, right?
Exactly. And see, this is the shit that pisses me off, and I would have great respect for women doing this. To call out bad wives, bad mothers, and bad girlfriends. Because black men have no problem calling out bad husbands, bad boyfriends, and bad fathers. None whatsoever. The part that gets me upset, you see this shit. You go to the damn schools. By the time your daughter gets looking for a mate in college, she doesn't see anything but other black women. And it's a damn shame, like, you don't raise that boy like he's going to be somebody else's father or husband. You
Let me
make him your husband.
let me
And
answer this real quick.
Well,
Let me
it's important that we consider the point of reference scenario when it comes to single mother homes. When black boys are being raised in single mother homes, oftentimes what I have found is that as those black boys have grown up into men and they somehow avoided incarceration and everything that was scheduled for them to experience, they, they actually have a livelihood and they have a clean record and all that good stuff. And what they said is that I just made it by the skin of my chin because I never had a point of reference as to what it is to be a man. Every time I've looked at something that influenced me, it wasn't developed, it didn't influence my sense of manhood. It just influenced my sense of folly. He used the word folly. That's when I was paying. I said, "Wow, this young brother using the word folly." That he was saying that our image is left. Black men are left to their own boys. Black boys are left to their own vices when they're raised by single women, and because of the influences surrounding them, are only focused on them conducting foolish things. Oftentimes that's what leads them to doing foolish things, and it takes a very special young man to just pick up on the pattern and say, you know what, I'm not going to be a statistic. I'm jumping out of this programming that white society is purposely doing to make sure that all black men remain subjugated to this system.
so
But thanks for listening.
let
I'm
me
gonna
answer.
say
Let
this.
me, let me get. I got to answer this question real quick. Let me answer this question. So, because Snuggles, you brought up a good thing, and I that's a little bit ahead of time for what I need to talk about that. But you're literally talking about the Esau and Jacob doctrine. And if you don't know that
Uh-oh.
story, trust me, there's a lot of stuff. I listen. I got a whole war chest of stuff, and if you don't understand the Esau and Jacob doctrine, the black like literally the black man would be the Esau, and the immigrants would be the Jacob. And
Yes.
what did Jacob do to Esau? What did he
Took his
do to him?
birthright.
He
He
gave him
supplanted his
blessing.
inheritance by tricking him.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
Took
tricked
his
him
So
out of his
He
inheritance.
tricked him.
he tricked.
Yeah.
So
Jacob
what
tricked
happened?
Esau out of his
birthright.
Inheritance.
rightful
So
inheritance. Yeah,
so now
rightful blessing. I think
now
it
I'm gonna
says.
show you. Now I'm gonna show you this, but this is actually pretty good that you brought it up, Snuggle. So what you have going on, and this is why some black men are even getting angry with black women that are in politics, and you're having it as to where the black man is like, yo, I'm steadily getting jumped over by Ukrainians, the people from Afghanistan, even people from other countries that are even black. And they get frustrated with these politicians and government, but they're like, yo, I was here first. I was busting my ass here first. I've been your loyal, faithful son. I get it. I'm not the most vernacular. I get it. I'm not, but I've been your loyal dog. And so, why is my blessing being passed over and given to him? And then you'll have it where the Jacobs will say, well, shit, you snooze, you lose. Now, Jacob's mom set him up and told him to go do that, right? He said, no, go do that. Go ahead. No. And so when you see the politicians or the people saying, yo, they're giving it to certain groups, the black man's like, fuck the system. Why am I voting? Fuck these women. Why am I participating and trying to help you? Because what should have been
That's why I didn't vote
mine,
in the last election.
what should have been mine, I've been, and I hear this for a lot of black men that do not want to participate. It's like a uphill, it's like you're trying to climb a mountain with no training or no experience and no gear. Everybody's taking the escalator, but you're literally trying to, and everybody gonna say, well, that's no excuse. Like, listen, man, in these schools, if you're not getting the proper education, the proper equipment, or the proper stuff, but you're being told to get ready for college, I'm like, hold up. In college, they don't really tell you what to do. You better know what the fuck you're supposed to do. Because literally, mind you, a lot of black boys for the most part, and you can go, I gotta go look up the study, they get put on either Ritalin, some type of mental ECP program
IEP.
for them. I don't know why the fuck y'all listen, y'all women, stop putting y'all sons in these programs.
Yes, please stop
Hey,
doing that. Please.
at
Please.
DMT,
Lord have
I got a
mercy.
story about that.
Stop putting
When
them.
I was,
It
yeah,
sickens me that these women fall for that crap.
I get it.
It
I get it.
sickens me.
Your son is hyper. Your son is hyper. He's a boy. I get it.
yes,
They offer
He's got
you money.
testosterone.
I get it. I get it that he's hyper, and you're gonna have
yes,
it where the teacher or somebody who doesn't really want to teach your kid is gonna say, "Hey, we can offer you a check and some stuff. A check for what?" And see, this is where that this is where I say
That's that
some of y'all need to
system
be
manipulation. It's
It's
that
Hey,
called
system.
BMT,
It,
I remember back in the day when I was in elementary school, they tried to put me on Ritalin. Hey, you know what my mom?
they tried to do that to me also. Luckily, thank God my daddy was in that damn room. Because
I
my daddy
said,
was like,
hell no.
exactly, that's
Right.
exactly my I was right there playing Legos in the other room. My dad said, "What the fuck you just said, bitch?" Like,
Oh
no.
yeah,
Like, but see, the thing about it was a lot of
hmm
these things, that's
yes,
not winning. Listen, so a lot of y'all women, that's not winning. Putting your children on psychotropic drugs because you
Exactly.
do not want to do parenting 101, because you don't want to sit at the table and teach them how to read or write their names, or say, well, I'm going to chalk them up with melatonin, and I know who some of you motherfuckers are. I'm going to chalk them up with melatonin because to get them to go to sleep. Take a
Uh,
fucking book,
They
sit
feeding them
down with the
NyQuil.
child.
They BMT. It's even worse. They're giving them NyQuil, man. They're giving them NyQuil.
That's not
Okay,
parenting, dude.
that's
That's
not
not.
exactly. Avoidance is not parenting. And I'll tell you something else, right? What's really the trick bag, right, is how all these things of the systematic manipulation of our black boys it's been planted since the 50s, right? Through the Rockefellers, right? Because the Rockefellers, they made deals with different industries that target black consumers, right? And for instance, the recording industry specifically, let's get on that. There is a frequency, right? A frequency of music that is natural with instruments, actual instruments. Now, what had occurred was there was an arrangement where black black customers were going to be targeted with electronic instruments, and then that would justify them taking music out of schools, right? Because black boys have a lot of energy, and a lot of boys, when they were found to be acting up in schools, they were transferred to the music programs where they learned how to compose and write music and write songs, and they came out to be very successful and well. But when they took music out of schools, next thing you know, you got a bunch of restless boys. And when you got these single mothers that's like, I don't know what's wrong with that child, he crazy, so I'm gonna take this counselor, this white counselor's suggestion, and put him on Ritalin. It's just a systematic manipulation that's so, like, it's not even covert. It's just so subtle, and it takes time. This has been planned, okay? Because they know the power of black men. Black men, because of your melanin, you can't be denied your glory at all. And what will happen is every opportunity that the opposer can take to oppress your God-given right to lead, they're going to do it. All you have to do is just see the signs.
Just see the sign. Just put the puzzle together. It's right in front of you. It is systematic. People don't study, man. People don't study. It has been a systematic play since they found out that men who are black with melanin can receive from the creator what it is there is to do to lead. And they're going to distract that by interrupting the frequency of our influence, right? Because left to our own devices, we're going to be all right. But if there's a frequency of influence with the media and the education and music, then next thing you know, we crazy out here because we're not
Dr.
receiving
Francis
that.
was supposed to talk about that at length.
We're
Now,
not receiving that natural vibration coming from the creator that inspires us to step up to, or rather you men to step up to your role. It's like everybody's listening to things that are interrupting the vibration of messages that they should be receiving from the creator. It's a plan against disseminating you men, and I just want the best for you. I swear. I know I sound a particular way, but I'm just desperate for you all to just rise up. That's all it is.
This is the part about it, because I'm gonna say this.
And make sure you answer this question
Oh
right here.
God, what did I do now?
Because I want
No, you're good.
I want to answer this question, and I want to answer Mel. See, the problem of being the leader, you got to have people willing to follow. And unfortunately, black women have not been taught to be following their men. And to this answer, to the statement made, it's also the father's responsibility to make sure your kids can read. It's an L for, see, there's some L's both parents can take, and there's some L's both parents cannot. And it's crazy because like I've said it before on that one channel, see, black men can take their L's in stride and say it's us. But as soon as you put it on a black woman, what they lack then, it's going to be, well, it's both of us. Bullshit.
What did it say? Oh, you're bashing black women. You hate black women. You say that.
Because first and foremost,
gaslight.
If you have ownership over 75 to 80% of the kids, you're the majority share owner. You own the company. But there's two things I've said to a lot of women who did this. The reason why you don't want to give the kids to the guy is because a lot of those guys are going to do a better job. And then two, people are going to be looking at you directly and take a closer look to be like, wait a minute.
I can believe that. I can believe that the typical woman would hesitate of turning her son over to his father in the event they're not together. I can believe that.
I don't.
I think it's sad. I think it's sad. A boy should be with his father.
I think I had a conversation on a panel, and they asked, the question was, why don't black men want to get married? And I said, simple. The laws are just not in our favor at all. That's an excuse. No, it's not an excuse. How do you tell me, and I'm a man in the threshold, to want to tell a man to take on a martyred role? You're going to be martyred. That's the rule of being a man. Like, you're going to get railroaded in life when you start dealing with a family. You're the last. You're in.
Hey, DMT. That's why I'm single. That's why I'm 52 years old and still single, because I can't find a woman that cooperative, man.
Let me finish.
Go ahead, brother. My bad.
And so what happens is, it's not easy being a father, namely a black father. I don't give a shit what any other men or race try to tell me that, oh, well, it's the same. No, the fuck it's not. It is definitely not the same. We are not the same. And so I can't in good faith tell a young man. That's why y'all don't hear me on panels trying to tell men to get to take on a family anymore, because it's the risk versus the reward. It's literally, you have to see, you got to search deep down inside to why you want to take on that kind of shit. And so no, they're actually, no, Sugar Bomb, believe it or not, I'm gonna tell you, this is something that's very interesting about men. if a man would take his child over taking child support, and that's not to get out of child support. Most men that get their kid don't ask for child support. They just want their kid. That's the difference of women that will get him and they want that child support check. They'll be like, no, I got my kid. If the mama gonna help me, the mama gonna help me. Other than that, fuck it, we're good.
All right.
And they'll run and they'll ask Charles got his boy. Charles, do you take a check?
What? Well, he probably doesn't
Can-
because he's a
get more
man.
time. Well, no. I'm gonna correct you with that one, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna correct you with that one. See, I have no problem with men getting child support checks if they choose it, but most men are not gonna take it because they rather have their child. See,
Right.
it reminds me of when Tony Braxton and Mary J. Blige got married and they're paying alimony. I've said it earlier. When you put yourself in a provider role, you got to pay provider taxes.
That's right.
It's
All
cute
right.
when the men get hit with that stuff. But see, we always make an excuse for women not to be faulty. We make an excuse for them to be faulty. And darling, you can't say that if I got the kid and if the guy needs child support or needs that person, because a lot of women, if you found out statistically, women are the majority who don't pay child support, even when they have an order. So
Mhm.
when we look at this, we can't say because they're a man, because we're gonna say, wait a minute, you're a strong black woman. What you need child support for? Because we already know child support at many of times is not even for the child; it's for spite.
Okay. All right. There's so many things that are unfair about the family court system. I can't even begin to talk about it. I could, but what I want to get to is future thinking, right? Now, we were talking about buying politicians, right? Because in order to change the family court system, you have to have political power. And in order to gain political power, you have to have someone in position to execute that power. And the only way to do that is to literally buy a politician. And in order to buy a politician, a lot of us are going to have a syndicate or some type. I forgot what that group is called when you get a coalition, something that is specifically designated to buy a politician.
I'm actually laughing. You said syndicate, so we should start
It's
like
actually
being.
it's actually
We're
a
starting,
lobby or coalition.
we're, yeah,
Back
A
in
lobby.
back
lobby,
in the days,
a
it was
coalition. I didn't mention
Coalition.
coalition, so I
He
wasn't
said
too far off.
syndicate. I think that we should start being crime bosses. I'm down.
No. I'm just saying that that word means something other than crime. Oftentimes, it's just that people associate it with crime, but it means something other than crime. But I did mention coalition, and
yeah.
coalitions get together and they buy politicians, literally. And in order to change the family court system, there should be a coalition that can buy that representative to make that happen. And
The
until
state
we
leg-
do that, we just talk.
I mean, it's all about getting the state legislature in your pocket, the ones that make the child support family laws in the first
Exactly.
place.
Exactly. So that's putting a plan into action, as opposed to just talking about it over and
It's,
over and
now,
over.
it's also helping to put some judges in your pocket too,
You
especially some
that's the
child support
game.
judges.
That's the
Yeah,
game in this country. We want to talk about game. I'm on game. Everybody's talking about game. The game is about power. And true power means that you're changing laws to benefit you. And in order to benefit you, there has to be a coalition. I mean, how do you think other ethnicities did it? Do you know that in some Latin neighborhoods in this metropolitan city nearby,
yes.
they refuse to have commercial restaurants, and they have the power to exclude commercial restaurants, like, well, not restaurants, but greasy spoons like Burger King and Pizza Hut and Taco Bell, and because they want to maintain themselves enriching, they want to circulate their own money. That's so they got that in the lick. And then they also have a coalition in the lick where they are influencing other things. Next thing you know, guess what? You have to learn how to be bilingual in order to like qualify for a job, a decent family earning wage. Like you're more highly considered as a candidate for a decent family earning wage if you're bilingual. That's the
Well,
result
I'm
of
familiar.
coalition. If it wasn't for them establishing coalitions to force their interests upon the government, then they wouldn't have a pot to piss in. But we sit back and we don't have coalitions. And so we're complaining about child support and family court, which is true. It's unfair. It's unfair, but it takes power to get it changed. And if we're not exercising the power to execute what it takes to make that change, we just talking. And we've been talking for 40, 50 years. When's the last time
Hey,
we actually put anything into action?
hey, Mello, you remember what I said about the 3 degrees of power? And I said this: players focus on sex, pimps focus on money, Max focus on power. And the third degree power, that's the highest. Because from that third degree, all else gravitates towards it. And every time I try to go deep with some of these goofballs, they want to find out the game with the women. So okay, here we go. And I say this: I
Yeah,
can't give
that's
you
their
what you
idea of
want, so you
game.
won't have to give.
Yeah, it's comical. That's their idea of game. Is all this relationship crap.
But the highest form of game is power.
It's power. I'm sorry.
Being able to change the molecules of your reality, your neighborhood, your nation. That's the ultimate game. Power.
Do
Being able
you
to
think that
change
it's?
the infrastructure of your reality. Yeah.
Do you think it's a situation where because there's not immediate, it's not going to be immediate, that a lot of people would just rather dwell in the despair of their situation as opposed to just focusing on the effort that it takes to grow a result, because to grow a result,
that's why
it
I
takes time.
say. Yeah,
It takes time to
that,
grow a result. It's not going to happen.
yeah,
Hell, we might not even live to see it, but the results
yeah.
will come. The results will come. We just have to
And see, that's why I say this:
do
Macking
it.
is a process, not a recess. There's a process to get what you want. You just can't
Yeah,
become.
a lot of us are
Can't become a
addicted to.
champion
A
boxer
lot of us
overnight.
are addicted to gratification, brother. A lot of us, we
Immediate
want our
gratification.
pleasure. We want it
Immediately.
now, and we want it. We want it now, and it's a lot of times. How can I put this? It's I don't want to call people delusional. I really don't. However, it is.
Well, let me put it like this:
It's a misguided
a lot of people
thought.
that the microwave food instead of that good cooked food you
You
cook in
read
the
my
stove.
mind. You read my mind exactly. It's a misguided thought to believe that things happen as quickly as a microwave.
Yeah.
But because we've been influenced with these conveniences and that
Yes.
gratify us in an immediate way, for whatever reason, people are delusional enough to believe that that's how results occur. And that's only we're talking about event. You can't compare apples to oranges when it's about catching up with 400 years. You know what I'm saying? Like being behind the 8 ball for hundreds of years, we got some catching up to
Hey,
do. That's
Melo,
not gonna.
let me respond to what that snuggle dude said. Okay,
I
the
got
thing about the ability to gain power, if you look at the book, The 48 Laws of Power, it says the foundation of power is self-control. You got to learn to develop the power within yourself before you up there work about attaining power outside yourself.
And also I will tell you something else, right? About the vibration of melanin. You know,
Yeah.
the vibration of melanin, like, you know, getting on one accord is actually our ordained strength. Like, we have the ability to be on one accord. All this interference with different distractions of modernization and and outside influences, it is distracting us from our united vibration that we're already born with together because of
And
melanin.
see, that's by design. That's
So
by that's by design. Like
It's
I
by
said many
design
times.
that they're interrupting our vibration on purpose because they know when we get together, it's a wrap. They
so
know that.
Hey, hey,
hold
Miller,
on.
let me say this. Like
Listen,
I told him, every
chill,
time
chill.
you put okay, well, every time you put that thing, every time you say a certain thing on social media, there's an algorithm. They use that algorithm to psychically drain energy from your soul, mind, and body. Every time you focus on distraction, that's
I
how
was
they get
telling,
you, get the energy
yeah,
from you.
and I
So
was telling somebody was talking about MK Ultra the other day on one panel, and I said it's
Yeah,
MK Ultra on YouTube, Black YouTube. I mean, what do you think the algorithm is about? They are
social media.
guiding us. They are guiding us into chaos. When you scroll down and look at your recommends, and you look at your what pops up in your feed, it's intentional. Okay, it's intentional. It slowly guides you into further chaos, and so we wind up bickering about stuff that is not
Hey,
future driven.
Miller, yeah. Hey, Miller, that's the reason why one of my accounts was blocked because I was dropping some really deep occult mystical jewels on the panel, and certain people in YouTube didn't like that.
so one
And
of
you
the
You
know,
were
things
doing what?
okay,
I was
I got listen.
but
Okay.
I'm just saying. I mean, when you look
Yeah.
at the social media and the algorithms, because back then algorithms was known as spellcasting back in ancient times. Now they're known as algorithms.
It sure
Algorithms is a
was.
certain mathematical procedure on which they do things. Infrastructure is based on algorithms. So in order to master the infrastructure, you got to understand and master the algorithms.
You know what's crazy is that Black women don't who are single mothers, they're just happy that their child graduated high, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they have to tell their young boys, if they're not going to turn them over to their fathers, who hopefully are decent men, if they're not going to do that, or in addition to that, just remind that child that our people need engineers, our people need legal representation. Just don't just turn that child's mind into, well, you'll figure it out for yourself.
Now
you sh-
here's
you you
Now
know
you know, Miller. That's why my
let me say now
uncle
listen,
mama
listen.
pushed me to learn mathematics.
I'm gonna
You know,
tell you
back
right
in the
now.
day.
Listen, I don't
Go
think
ahead.
every black man. Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now. I've been listening to a lot of this shit. All you black men don't need to be leaders. I'm gonna just be honest. A lot of y'all don't need to be no
Right.
leaders. So I'll just be honest with that's a big fallacy. Some just need to just follow. We got a big problem with that. Uh,
Right.
I get it. You want to have, or you want somebody to listen to you, but it's just not in the cards. That's why we're having a lot of these issues now. You're being told that, hey, everybody can be a leader, but then if you ever watch kids in school, not every kid knows how to properly lead the line. um it is what it is. This is why, just like when I hear every guy think he's entitled to a 10, or every woman think that, hey, I want a good man, and I'm like, maybe you need to go through that suffrage to understand that, hey, like,
Can you
yeah,
say
what
that,
I thought.
can you say that again for the
You
niggas in the back that
know,
didn't hear you?
Like,
BNT. To be honest with you, I want to be the teacher, the master teacher that raises leaders. That's what I want. Because my
so
gift, my passion is teaching.
but you know
Yeah.
what, but
we
I'm,
could use some aptitude tests around here.
I'm
listen,
gonna tell you this before I get off. One, I've said this to a lot of people lately. Look, those who lead, lead. Those who follow, follow. So, see, I had a conversation with my sister's friend, and she said, I like alpha males. I said, okay, if that alpha male made a decision, are you going to go around his back and basically try to offend his authority? Well, yeah. I said, then don't expect alpha men. See, we got to understand, and this is the reason why tonight I'm going to do a show that talks about simping. I hate to go back to the Russell Wilson stuff, but people say, well, he's a simp, he's a square. Ain't nobody who been the captain of the college football, of a college or high school, professional, or middle school football team has ever in their life been a square. Let's get that bullshit out the front. A lot of people, and this is the problem with our people, we worry too much about imagery instead of effectiveness. I need to say that again for the niggas in the
That's
back
right.
there playing with
That's
the
right.
paper airplanes.
It's
I
about
agree.
results.
I
Exactly. It's
agree
about
with you.
results.
I'm gonna just say this quick before I get off. We need to worry about effectiveness and imagery because one, we've been wearing nice designer clothes for shit, and we're still in the same rut, right?
Mhm.
But when you actually follow guidelines such as the Great Faulkner Initiative and others, notice the progression of masculinity rises. The one thing I want to see black women do, get out of this bad bitch mentality. Because really, when you say I'm a bad bitch, I'm a bad wife, I'm a bad mother, I'm a bad girlfriend, I'm a bad person. It's no different than the nigga mentality niggas try to invoke. Stop trying to be a bad person and try to be the best person. Woo! I'm out.
And stop trying to be a real nigga. That's crazy. Like when people say I'm a real nigga, it's like, what are you saying? That's
You're saying you feel
crazy.
stupid and
That's
dysfunctional.
insane. Right. It's insane to say bad bitch and real nigga and think like you're actually enhancing your position in life. That's not that that's what that's awful.
I think
You know,
well
that's
you
why
got
that's why my nephew LR Movement said that the real nigga is dead.
well you well okay, so you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying, but I'm about to wrap it up. We
gotcha.
actually it came, it got rough. It got rough listening, but we
Yeah.
uh I guess y'all found y'all way. Y'all found
Are
y'all way.
you encouraged about us staying on topic, or did we do something that you would have
No, no, no,
preferred
no, no,
differently?
no, no. It's it. You know what the thing about it is? The thing about it's not, because when I look at it, is
Yeah.
some people for the most part they have to find their way. You get what I'm saying, Mello? Some people have to find their way, and it gets rough because you got to think a lot of black. Imagine a lot of black people coming to a checkpoint or a camp. You got different people from different tribes or diasporas of life coming in from different ages, from different diversities, different experiences. I've heard pretty much all y'all experiences. Yours, Mac, Mike, Charles. I've heard all y'all experiences, and I understand what all of y'all bring. And I'm like, it just takes time. Ironically, Mela and Charles are both veterans, so they have. So I listened to them about that. Mac has his stewards in life. Mike and me we go in on different bears and stuff. I definitely, and like I said, Mela, remember when you first on the panel, I said it's gonna get pretty rowdy. It's gonna, and you said, oh, I'm gonna have to go back to old Mela, and I said you might have to. You might have to. But that old Mela wasn't bad. You know, she just needed to temper her flamethrower, how she was going to aim the fire. But you wasn't wrong in saying that. I agree. I don't focus so much on the past because right now I have to look towards the future. I got kids and I got different other things and I got businesses I got to be worried about. You know what I'm saying? I have not been to sleep. I haven't. I don't really sleep like that.
You're a very busy dude, BMT.
I do. I am. I work. I move.
Hey,
I'm
BMT,
up.
I want to say
I'm
something
up.
right quick, if you don't mind.
Take time
The
to
one,
rest.
I'm up.
I mean,
You
the
gotta
one
say.
show that inspired me to want to be a father was that show Bonanza, about how Mr. Cartwright done with his sons. I wanted to have something like that where I have a family made of sons. That was one of my favorite family shows, Bonanza. How how he raised his 3 boys.
I probably say like looking at this right now, you have this
Yeah.
infatuation of single parenting. You have this infatuation of single parenting. It's rough. It's hard. It's very brutal. My mom and dad, they were on and off. They were on and off. I know what it's like to be a child of a parent of 4 kids, sometimes 6, and it's not easy. It's not. And
No,
so and so
Hey,
um
DMT. I
I've
was
seen,
raised up that sort of
I've
thing too
seen.
because I'm one of
let me
4
finish.
children, right?
Let me
Yeah.
finish.
Go ahead.
Let me finish. Calm.
My bad.
Sorry. Um, these kind of things, it's like right now you got this infatuation, like I can do it by myself, or passing around children. That's no, man. We're in a situation. I just now finished watching a video of a man who literally ran into his molester who tried to fuck him, and he ran into him, and the pedophile literally is now a parent of a child. And so you got these situations that are happening in Black society right now. Right now. Actually somebody just sent me a thing. A man right now gone to jail because his baby mother was selling her vagina. She is 6 or 7 months pregnant, and she's selling her vagina for $100, and she's getting money. But I'm like, at what cost? Now, the man is incarcerated, and you will be giving birth to that child by yourself after selling it. Hell, you don't even know what that child is. And I'm like, from someone the manosphere needs to pull up with their mama. I need to hear how these women feel about them. I think that's honestly, I think that's a very interesting thing, Sugar. How would some of these parents take to their children what they say online? Like what they say online. I question that. That's why I said a lot of these women, like, would you say these type of things to the men in your family? Would you say that about them? Well, I won't say it about them men, but how do you think those men should interpret it? The same way some of these men, the way you talk about women or you talk about the community. Hey, I'm all for you not having a fucking legacy. I'm all for that. I'm not telling you to have no babies. You don't need no fucking kids. Just exist and then fade out of existence. I think we'll be okay with that. I agree. Like right
BMT, I
now,
wanted to say something.
like right now, I think
I
it's right.
didn't realize you ran across a story like that. Yeah, there are
Oh,
people that don't need to have children and
Hang on,
need to.
hang on. You want? Let me. I'll show it to you real quick. I'll show it to you real quick. Literally, this actually came across towards me. This came across right there towards me. I didn't do it yet. But man runs into his childhood molester at a grocery store.
You killing Miss Bell.
The
Yeah.
article is not on the screen.
Huh?
The article's not on the screen from what I'm looking at.
You can't see it?
No, I see a animated image of a black man with a green ring. That's what I see.
You don't.
Maybe it's just my equipment. I don't know.
No. It's literally. Can y'all see it? Can y'all see? I'm share screen. Can y'all see it?
yes, I can see it.
Oh,
It's
I
like
can
okay.
see it.
It's just me then. Okay.
okay. Like 1 minute. Let's see. Play. If I gotta put in the back chat for you.
You killing Miss Bell. Yeah. I can't shake your hand. You remember me? Yeah. You used to stay on Ferguson? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you tried to fuck my ass when I was
We can hear you, Mac.
That's you, Paul. I think her name Paul. Miss Bell, Tamara, Janine, and them. Them your people, yeah. This faggot motherfucker tried to fuck me in my ass when I was 7 years old, man. Now he got this beautiful little girl with him. Y'all look at this shit. He ain't dating. I'm happy I got
Oh, you showing the video.
this faggot ass
Oh
nigga.
my lord, my lord.
We in Kroger's and shit. They got a beautiful little girl with him. I feel sorry for him. He probably only fuck with little boys though. Nigga tried to tell me it was alright to fuck with men when I was 7 years old, living with his sister, and because my mama was in prison. You thinking you don't think I can trust a black man? You can't trust this faggot ass nigga right here. And I got this nigga on camera too, man. And guess what, nigga? I'm gonna tell you what, nigga. Now that I got your face, we're gonna see you around. I ain't gonna get you tonight. You through though, nigga. You was a bitch ass faggot. Hey, you was a faggot, man. Faggot ass nigga tried to fuck me in the ass when I was 7 years old. That's crazy. I'm gonna false on this faggot ass nigga, and I just ran into him now.
So I want y'all to get that video was sent to me. That video was sent to me of a man who held the vitriol. Y'all listen to what he said. He said, "I can't trust black men." He said, "I was put in the system." Ricardo, you my dude. The dude, he said he ran into the man that has a child that literally, that same man tried to rape him. That's what I said. And that man has a child now. That's what I said. Some men don't need no damn legacy. Some men don't need no damn legacy.
Now I see where you're going. Yeah.
So
like
this in this scenario, I'm wondering if that guy is he on the registry as a sex offender? And because to me, sex offenders shouldn't be allowed to procreate. Period. You know, like they really shouldn't. And I was just wondering if is there a legislation that prohibits sex offenders from procreating?
Well, I think the thing about that, Mella, is for that to happen, right? They have to get they got to get brought to justice to be put in the registry. You know what I'm saying? From what it's saying, a lot of things happen to a lot of foster kids. We all know that. A lot of things happen to a lot of foster kids, and some things happen to a lot of these people. Like you say, you're the product of a boomer. I'm the product of parents that came from the 70s, and I'm an 80s baby. So I mean, shit, actually, my daddy's in the 60s. So I'm an 80. I tell them I'm an 80s crack baby era baby.
I'm a
Hey,
7.
I'm a product of the boomer too,
I'm a
because
70s baby.
my dad was born in 36 when my mom was born in 1940.
Y'all came through the heroin era. Heroin
Yeah.
was bad. So
the Superfly era. Yeah.
Don't put
Superfly and Soul Train.
Don't put down your drink.
Hey, BNT, I gotta tell you something.
Superfly, Soul Train, and George Jefferson.
Yeah. Hey, Mella and BNT, let me tell you something. I am part of a 4-child family, and my mom was around, but my dad wasn't around much. Edward Lee Bailey Sr. And the thing about it, my mama realized that she couldn't raise us 4 by herself, so that's where my uncle came in, my Uncle Lester. And when she had problems with me, guess what? I had to live with my uncle for about 2 years, and he took me through my paces.
That's not an uncommon story. That's not an uncommon story, because hell, they made a whole movie. It's called Boys in the Hood. The mama couldn't deal with the boy, so what the hell was the first thing she did? You're going to go stay with your father. Now, mind you, the mama moved up in society,
right,
and became a high-powered lawyer. Nobody ever thought about that. The mama moved up in society and
Came out
became a
for a lawyer.
prominent lawyer in a penthouse, while the boy
Being
Yeah.
raised by the father stayed in that same raggedy ass house and
But
neighborhood.
in a
but see,
raggedy
but see,
house in
being raised by
in
your
the
uncle is
goddamn
different
hood.
though.
I'm like,
Yeah.
how the fuck is that a win?
But here's the
Torrance,
thing.
Well,
I'm
Here's
your
the
but
thing.
mother.
that's the pressure of raising
Yep.
a child. Like
All right, what
you
kind of bullshit ass win is that?
Well, Miller and BNT, check this out.
How's that a
That's
win?
why. No. Check this out. That's why Dr. John Henry Clark said that the uncle is an important part of the African family, because I remember my younger brother had problems with the baby mamas, of my brother's kids. That's why sometimes I was called in to deal with them. And I remember I had a discussion with my younger brother about why I wasn't able to meet my niece Shariah until 2007. And then I told my younger brother this: "You the baby daddy. I'm the uncle. You had a relationship with Michelle. That's why it's better for me to go down there to these stands and talk to them instead of you, because you and Michelle still got some issues. So there are times when the uncle has to step in that role. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. That's a good point. Answer me this.
sending the son to the dad and the uncle is completely different, because the uncle doesn't have the drama with the mother.
well, it depends on what
And
that
and and
uncle
and,
has
and,
been
and, and
through because
yeah.
that uncle could be stone cold crazy too.
Now my uncle Lester, he had several businesses. He had like a janitorial business. He had like a long landscaping business. He had like a moving furniture business. You know, he was a pretty well-known dude around the neighborhood. I mean, there were times when there was an argument in the neighborhood, my Uncle Lester would be calling in to solve.
Uh-huh.
And then when I
Well,
hear
it's
Charles
good
Faulk,
to have a
when I hear Charles Faulkner saying what he says, I said, dude, that you remind me of my uncle, because my uncle was hardcore about what the men and women would not do. But it's just that, like I said, you got to start from a psychological foundation of why this stuff is happening. You got to have a roadmap from the
roadmap. Exactly. The point
source of
of
the problem to the source of the
reference
solution.
is so
Yeah.
important for a child.
And
It is.
Dr. Frances Cress Welsing talked about that. But she came up with a solution about saying that black men and black women should not be sexually active until like they get their degrees together, or they become until after they're like 21 or whatever. They didn't like that, but that was a
But how do
solution
you
that a
keep
lot of people
how
had
do
a hard
you
time
keep
swallowing.
okay, how do you keep young people with their hormones raging and society telling them that, like having sex is
Well,
okay? How do you keep
well,
them from getting with each other though? How do you do that? Because
no,
I
no, no,
believe
no,
in
no.
sexual purity for young people
Yeah.
too. But young
Now,
people ain't trying to hear that.
well, there is a certain certain techniques like the Tao sexology, which I learned when I was taking martial arts in my late teens, early 20s. Well, I learned Taoism from a certain Chinese gardener who told me I need to learn about the Tao before I learned about the Tai Chi and other stuff. Then I came across another mentor named Charles Shipp who told me about the Tao sexology and how to master your sexual force. And like I said in certain chats, wisdom is the mastery of one's sexual force, sexual energy. You gotta teach these young people how to like develop self control from within themselves, and
Well,
how to
give us
deal with
3 points
how to de-
before.
how to deal with sexual transmutation.
Give us 3 points before we go. Just give us
Yeah.
three quick
Okay,
points. Three quick points.
okay. I'll give you three quick points. The vibration of your flow determines the quality of your glow. Your focus determines your frequency. Mastering that frequency leads to mastering your destiny. And then the third point: healthy men and healthy women raise healthy families, leading to raising healthy communities and healthy nations.
Okay, what I'm talking about is when a young boy wakes up with an erection and he's being bombarded with messages that it's okay for him to fornicate that leads to sex outside of marriage. What would you suggest to a young boy or girl to hold their horses?
What I would suggest is this: they learn how to meditate. They learn how to they learn certain ancient practices to control their sexual urges, like I've learned. They
So,
learn how to. They learn how to.
so you were
That,
meditating at
that, 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 that,
13.
that, that, no, they learn how to master the perineum muscle.
So you were meditating at 13.
No, I wasn't meditating. I was meditating after 18 and 19. But
Okay,
you give them
so
some other activities. You give them some other activities to do, like sports, like arts and crafts, music, that sort of thing. Because see, when I was growing up and I got into trouble, my mom made me join the music department at Southwest Junior High School, and she also made me sing in choir as well. They got me involved in church, where I was even a Sunday school teacher. So she got me involved in music, sports, and all sorts of other stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you a personal
I
question, and
mean,
you don't have to
yes,
answer it. What
go
age
ahead.
did you lose your virginity?
I lost my virginity at 19.
And how old was the girl? Okay, you were 18. How old was she?
No, I was 19 and she was 24.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, so all right, all right. I'm going on mute.
Well, I mean, you know,
Black
um,
people, black people need help, man. We need help.
yeah.
And
But see, when
no,
I had certain trouble, I mean,
no, no,
yeah.
don't say no more, Mac. No, no.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry, dude. My
I don't know why Bella threw that damn bomb over the wire, man. Like, stop. You just no, Mac. No,
my bad, man.
it's okay.
But BMT, I'm just saying,
It's okay.
when I
It's
got
okay.
into Taoism, Eastern philosophy, I learned certain practices that kept
But
me out of the child support thing and out of the baby mama terrorists. You know what I'm saying?
see the thing. But
And
here's
that's why I'm a single dude. I'm a single dude at 52 because I have yet to find the woman that's worthy of me. You know what I'm saying?
but how are you gonna coach? How are you gonna coach other people? And they're gonna be like, "Well, show me your
Well,
work."
well, yeah. I mean, well, I have showed them the worth and everything when they're surprised when I tell them that I'm age 52. They say, "Well, sir, you look like you're in your 30s
No.
or
Okay,
younger."
okay.
But
That's like. And hear me with this, right?
okay, go ahead.
That's like I find it interesting when somebody says
My
like, "I'm a
signal
god."
is being interrupted. I'm gonna stay
Okay,
on until it cuts off,
Okay.
I guess.
gotcha.
So that's like
Yeah,
a man telling me how to parent my children. I'm like, well, tell me what school meetings you've been to.
right.
Well, I can tell you the game. No, nigga, tell me what school meetings you've been to. Tell me
Right,
what. Tell me what insurances do you get for your family? Tell me
right.
how do you fill out your taxes? When do you fill out your taxes? Do you even claim any of your children on your taxes? When I can't have these conversations with you, no, then it's like
Well, BMT. I'll say that.
I'm
I'll say this. When they see me working out the gym, hitting every bag, in pretty good shape that I am, they ask me how. I said, "Sir, how do you keep yourself in shape? How do you be able to last about an hour in a heavy bag?" And I give them a certain program. I mean, I give them
Okay,
some of my
Mac,
experience. Yeah, they see the way I
sir,
work out at the gym,
Are
and
you
all
seeing
that.
what? Is anybody seeing
sir.
where I'm going with this? Like,
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm
Yeah.
about to
Experience,
announce it.
experience.
I'm about to.
Go ahead,
No, sir, Max. I'm sorry, Mac.
go ahead. Yeah,
What the way it's coming across at this point is self
yeah.
promotion as opposed to being qualified. Okay,
Okay,
you're announcing how can I put this? You're presenting a resume that doesn't qualify for what BMT is looking for. And it's
I'm,
nothing personal
I'm,
to you. It's
I'm,
just
I'm
that
not trying
he
to like
has
make a resume. I'm just telling you about my
but
experience.
but
That's all I'm
but
saying.
what
My
right.
experience.
So you're sharing with us, but this
Yeah,
is not the purpose of this live stream. This live stream
right.
is to announce who and who is not qualified.
Who's worth having a legacy? Right.
Yeah, who's not qualified for to have a legacy. And so
Yeah.
while you're doing all this self-promoting, which is cool, it doesn't qualify for legacy.
Well, that's what I'm
And
working on. By being involved in being a boxing coach. That's what I'm working on.
and I'm saying that with
So,
love,
so
true
I'm working
love.
toward. Yeah, I'm working towards that. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Because
working
I'm not
towards that.
perfect. I'm not
Yeah.
perfect at all. I do
Yeah.
introspection all the time.
Right.
And I don't go around, saying, well, these are my
Yeah.
qualifications. I do this, this, and the other. When I know that the
Yeah.
solution is bigger than what I can afford to offer. I'm
Okay.
just here being
Yeah.
allowed. I'm allowed to be on this panel. I'm allowed. I'm not qualified to be on this panel, but I am allowed to be on this panel. And I think
You're doing well.
when you speak in a way that makes it seem like you're qualified to give him advisement, you need to actually do some introspection because
Well, Mela, that wasn't my
and
intent.
wait a minute,
I was answering this
wait a minute.
question.
I apologize.
I was,
Wait, hold on. I
yeah.
apologize because I stepped on. I apologize. You don't need to do
Yeah.
anything. What I'm saying is that this particular live stream is about a
Yes.
particular topic, right? And
Got
you came
it.
across as if you were qualified to edify what was necessary to enhance the topic. And what you're actually doing is you're telling everybody what it is about you that doesn't have anything to do with edifying toward advancement. Other than, because we asked you three things, right? We was like, give us three things. And you started
Three
coming up
things.
with yeah,
Okay.
we asked you three things to announce that would prevent young people from fornicating and maintain their sexual purity. And then you started coming up with, stuff that wasn't really pragmatic
Okay.
and
So
Okay.
practical.
so let me
Well, let me say
I'll say
let me say
let me
this.
say this here.
Let me say this. I get involved in the boxing gym, working out in the weights. I get involved in certain like activities like arts and crafts, music.
Activities,
Going
yeah,
to
you
like job,
mentioned that
yeah,
later.
going to job fairs to keep them off of that. You know, there's been times when I've been asked to coach some kids in boxing, uh, young
How
men
do you
and young
program
girls.
how do you program them to hold their horses?
It's all about the self control. I mean, learn how to control
So
your emotions, your
so
aggression.
So that's what
That, I mean,
parents
that's
have to
that,
do.
I mean, that, I
They
mean, that's what combat sports is all about. Self control,
so all right,
all
so
right.
control your
no,
emotions,
okay,
your
so
movement.
Sugar Bum asks a good question. What measurements are we using to qualify other people? Who are we to decide
That's
this?
a good
Now, I'm
question.
glad. So, okay, and that's a really good question. So, right now we have it right now that people are making decisions on about children and genders and how a parent should be a parent and rearing and teaching their kids. But the same people are not even having kids. They're not even
Right.
parents. They don't have no kind of tangible. Hell, these people don't even have relationships. Hell, at Google,
Especially these child
so
psychiatrists.
so
Yeah.
when you that's an example. You have it
Yeah.
where certain men are telling other men about a relationship. Like a guy will say, "Man, me and my girlfriend had an argument," and the guy will start putting his input to that man about how he should be with his woman. But then the guy will, well, what do you do with your woman? Oh, bro, I don't fuck with these hoes. I'm not with a woman. That's not what he asked you. He asked you, what are you doing with your woman? You're telling me what
Right.
to do with my woman, but you're not even in a relationship or in a placement. How
Hmm.
can you quantify me, the guy that's literally in a relationship for 3 months? You don't have no months under your belt. That's like you telling
Right.
somebody about tech. Well, do you work in tech? No, but I watched a YouTube video. Hold the fuck up. Wait a second. So I actually work in tech. You don't work in
Right.
tech. I work on an engine. It's like the people, I get it. You can have an opinion. Say it's an opinion. The same way, like I tell like a lot of these women that need to be, every woman can be empowered. I'm not going to have the woman that's going around being an ain't shit bitch, telling a woman that's
Right.
actually putting forth her goddamn effort to see her child and her man succeed. And you're shaming that type of woman, saying she's a mammy, but then your ass right here is a streetwalker. No, no, no,
Hmm.
no, 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 no. Depower down and empower that. See, this is why we're having these issues to fuck now. I don't agree with. I'm sorry. Too much of this talking of the sexual market
Yeah.
It ain't done shit. I'm sorry. Y'all, some of y'all black people like talking about sex too fucking much for me. Y'all like talking
Yeah.
about it so much.
Amen to that.
But when I ask y'all, so show me, other than talking about sex and knowing about the arts of X, Y, and Z, show me about some plausible tangibles that we can get. This is why a lot of the younger people now, they don't want to have kids. They're like, y'all telling us all this game shit. And mind you, it's a majority of the older people talking about the game. The younger people
Right.
right now saying, yo, I need to get to the bag because y'all made all these fucking babies, but y'all could barely feed us, let alone even get us a goddamn scholarship or help. Well, that's your problem. You saying, oh, so now that's our problem now. So okay, we're gonna fix it. Not fucking with y'all. And so now you have it where there's this attachment where now this train cart, instead of actually pulling the train cart, they're severing it. And see, now we're having it now where I don't have smoke for the younger guys and the younger gals, but the young guys are like, man, fuck this family shit. Y'all ain't got anything you're trying to say, old niggas. Show me. Show me where your kids at right now. Show me where's your wife at. Show me where's your tangibles of a home and generational wealth. And a lot of these older niggas
Demonstrate your qualifications.
There you
Exactly.
go.
And Mela and BMT, you know why I
Just
was asked to be a boxing coach? Because they see me hit the heavy bag and they see me use boxing in a self-defensive situation.
okay, but aside from
Because they seen it. They seen it.
aside from hitting, listen, I do martial arts. I'm literally
Yeah.
licensed in different other states. I have my license, all this
Right.
stuff. But aside from
Gotcha.
that, what else can you actually put on made all what babies? Yeah, like I mean, that anybody can make a baby. Actually somebody said that very
Right.
politically. A dog can make a baby, but an
But
actual
man takes care of his children.
but
Raises
man
his
can
children.
take care.
Yeah.
Y'all talking about points. Y'all talking points are old as hell. The population declining. So
Yes.
so the birth rates are declining. We have been every year. Well, we know why. We know why. Let's and I can actually we can hit on that. I'm actually hit on
Mhm.
that. The reason why, first of all, a lot of younger daughters and cousins had to raise their own siblings, had to raise their own raise their own mamas. So if they had a parent at a younger age, why would they want to be a parent when they get older? Like that, I got to live my life.
Yep.
I know a lot of women that were literally parenting at a young age their own siblings. I know a
Yep.
lot of
Running right. Yep.
I know a
They were
lot of young
running.
boys. Mhm. I know a
And
lot of
so
young boys.
why would they want to experience that again if they were burdened with it in their teenage years,
It's not that the talking points ain't, see, the reason why the talking points can't be old is because the talking points are showing up at the Supreme Court level now. Where right now they're like, yo, how do we get back? How do we jumpstart the engine to society? How do we jumpstart the engine to society? Well, honestly, here's why I can say we look like we're going into a genocide. When motherfuckers don't even know what the difference between a woman and a man in a wig, that's a fucking problem. When you can't say, no, that's a wig, you're not a woman. But see, nowadays, they're fine with that. When motherfuckers don't have a problem with another race or group of people saying, well, I don't have a problem with them calling me nigga. What's wrong? We use it every day. What the fuck? Wait a second. Show me what other group can go into another group and say some derogatory terms and come out and say, well, what's the problem? I called them that. They're fine with that. You gotta understand, Black American society is drastically declining. Y'all don't want to see it, but yet we're showing up here on YouTube today, on these days, talking about how to deal with each other. We were just having that right now earlier, like what, last hour ago? We're looking at it right now where, and this is you can go look it up. Go
Mhm.
ask, go find a school teacher or anybody in any scholastic development. Ask them about the black student. Just if you can just pay them off the record to talk about the black student, you'll be surprised what they. Well, actually, you won't be surprised. It's going to be like listening to a Netflix documentary. Black youth ain't doing that damn good. We already understand after COVID, motherfucking shit was real. What laws do you have that honestly garnish that look in your best interest? Black men, you're the quickest and easiest person to get fired or furloughed or railroaded on a job, and there's no pushback. Black women, you are still the least underpaid group of people on the job. You got the education. How the hell other groups of people still out paying you? These are things that we're seeing. We're talking about black entrepreneurship. Fair enough. But the dollar does not circulate in the black community. It can come out of the community, but doesn't circulate. We're more purposely engineered towards consuming, not producing. You can say we produce our own trends, but you don't control your trend. You can say you might make an image of a hairstyle or something like that, but you don't get to market or make any money off of that.
Preach.
When Jordan dies, when Michael Jordan dies, his legacy will not be going to his kids. It's going to go to his shareholders. When any of these rich black men, majority of them that will die, majority of shit don't go to them. Their masters. How many of their masters actually go to their children? How many of their doggone scholastics or stuff? The goddamn the King family don't even run the King legacy. It's outside sources. The Panther Party ain't being run. Hell, motherfuckers was surprised to see a white man running the NAACP chapter. A white man.
Preach.
Well,
So
the NAACP was started by white folks.
See, that's the thing that's interesting about it. They got the credit. They got the credit to say that they started it. But how many black people before them were already doing things or speaking up for black people, but they didn't get no credit? They say, "Shut up, nigga. You don't know what the fuck you talking about." All of a sudden, some white Christian folks say, "Hey, I feel bad for that nigga that my husband slept with. I feel like you should have a voice." Wait, you got me here. I'm stuck here now. They feel that bad. They feel that bad for
Like
us, but they
W.B. Du Bois and Ida B. Wells.
well, see, here's the thing about it. Well,
Yeah.
you have the Boule. They said,
Yes.
there's two sides. One said that we should just go to work. The other side said that we should tackle it. We should tackle it from the scholastic side and get the money.
The skilled laborers and the talented 10. W.B. Du Bois people and Booker T. Washington's people.
And today, right now, them two bastard children, sons, are still fighting today. I'm a goddamn Booker, and some of y'all are a goddamn Du Bois. But at the end of the day, you still just a nigga in this society, and ain't none of us got shit. I make my coin, just like some of y'all make y'all coin. But then we still understand that the black man don't give a fuck about his legacy anymore. The black woman stopped giving a shit about her imagery.
What if I told you that the word nigger interrupts the vibration of our unity?
It do. I remember you gave us a challenge to stop
Yeah.
saying that. You know the thing about it,
I failed the challenge because I'm still caught up in the mix.
But see, the thing about it
You
is,
know, Mel, when you said that word, that nigga word, that denotes an item of property like a remote control or a car or a house.
Yeah,
That denotes property.
it doesn't matter whether or not we want to conceive it as a term of endearment and nobody else can say it and all these things. What it is, it interrupts our frequency of unity.
I never
That's
understood
what it
that.
does. That's what that word does.
Yeah, I never understood it. Why would
Because
why?
I actually had something I wanted to say until I heard
Right.
that word. And then all of a
Mhm.
sudden I forgot what I had to say.
Well,
You
see,
know, it interrupts the frequency of unity. That's what that
well,
word does.
Actually,
just think
I
about it.
prefer the
Why would
term
they even?
melanated people. Melanated
Well,
people. I prefer that term.
I mean, and I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like the thing about it is, and I get everybody. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Y'all are bringing up good talking points. Um, like you guys, like the black society is not flourishing. It's just surviving. It's not flourishing. It's just surviving. You know what I'm saying? And I know some people say, "Why y'all make it seem like we're not doing good?" Like look at the payoff for how it is for our colleges.
Yeah.
Look at the payout. Most black kids, if they can help it, they don't go to black colleges. Immigrants go to black colleges. White girls go to black colleges. Different other groups of people go to black colleges. Black people, yeah, we go, but for the most part, if we can help it, we go to other stuff. Um, I agree. As far as the psychological training, shit, I don't know how the fuck MacBone. That's an uphill. That's a goddamn cliff you trying to walk up. Like we're too ingrained. It's like it's psychologically imprinted
Well,
on
BMT,
it's it's psychological.
why you
Oh
think
no,
I'm
no,
mentoring
listen, I
from the
got no
12?
problem with you mentoring. I got no problem with
Yeah.
you mentoring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got no problem with you mentoring. I don't want you to understand the mistake in that. You
Yeah.
know, hell, I hope. Like I said, I
Why
don't
you
know
think I'm
what.
focusing on the children of 7 to 12? Because it's too late for these generations, the millennials and the zennials.
I
I got to deal with the children.
well, see, here's the
You
thing
know.
about it. Here's the thing about that.
Yeah.
I like I don't. I talk to people of our age,
Hmm.
but I understand that some people, for the most part, are kind of set in their
Late.
ways, and
Yep.
so I get it. You got to eat a time with a child.
Yes.
Just like I tell some brothers, like, hey man, like you'll be a good daddy someday. He's like, nah, I'm just barely getting by with myself right now. And I get why the brothers are saying that, but they're like, yo, man, like it's hard enough as it is. I can't afford another amount to feed. So I don't got no smoke for a brother who got to go down there and go get the Plan B pill or give her that goddamn 450 for that goddamn that operation. He's like, hey, I can't afford no kids.
Yeah.
And
Can't afford no
and that's
kids.
actually why some women are realistic now. They're like, yo, hey, I ain't trying to push no baby out in this motherfucking world right now. Like we in a goddamn genocidal apocalypse. And yes, American society is right now genociding right now. We're not functional as we could be. And understand whatever hurts American society is definitely gonna hurt the black society. And people are gonna say, wait, are they how are black people different from American society? Look at how they talk or address you. Look at how they talk and address you.
They skip over us, man. Like they gave reparations to the rainbow community, and they up
Mm-hmm.
there gave reparations to these immigrants and everything. But we've been in the trenches since 1619 for 403 years.
Like
And
you know the thing about
here's the thing that David Carroll said. David Carroll, rest in peace, said this: Black Americans are in a hole that we may not ever get out of
I,
due to
right.
what's
I
happening
think
around
it's
our community.
that, and the thing about it, in saying that, because y'all watch, y'all wait till them
Hmm.
Ukrainians get over here.
Oh shit!
The Afghans are already being allowed to go to schools that your ass could barely get in. They're already getting there. Like, first of all, I mean, shit, I'll take that goddamn deal. I could choose any. Well, I mean, I already got one of those deals. But I'm
At
saying
BMT,
that,
that's no, go ahead. That's a
yeah,
Ukrainian community in Texas, in Odessa,
yeah,
Texas.
and I'm telling you right now, them other groups don't
Hmm.
fuck with you. They don't.
Sure.
They tolerate you. They'll allow you certain types of, hey. You want to come here and
Hey,
put some money
BMT,
in the
I
bank.
don't blame them.
You know what I'm saying? But and you know they were like, oh no, that's listen. Even black people don't want to fuck with niggas, or even black people at some point. Like
Mhm.
we pretend this shit. When is it going to? When is it going to be? When is it going to be in 500 years? Um, shit.
Who knows?
I
Who
mean,
knows?
I mean, right now we already over the four. We are. I mean,
It
technically
could be
by
1,000,
default,
2,000 years.
by default,
Yeah,
we already had we. I think we're already over the 500 year mark for
yeah.
Black Americans in the U.S. And like I said, right now you got them saying that's why I don't join the FBA ADOS conversation shit. But at the end of the day, it don't even fucking matter because it ain't like listen, I haven't seen not one fucking bill, not one goddamn thing. Like listen, this YouTube shit ain't got a shit yet. I know we believe we would like to think that it has, but motherfucker, until I see a plausible law that says, hey, you guys, come to this part of America. Y'all got free reign. Govern yourself, which will never
Hey,
fucking happen.
BMT,
Now,
that's why Sly said we got to understand the laws and understand how to change our status.
and I agree with Sly.
Because
Listen,
because
people don't like
when
what
they
Sly
talk
is
about
saying.
minorities, they're talking about children.
People
And like
don't like
Sly
what
said,
Sly is saying.
this is why they treat you like children.
Now, other people say, well, what group? No other group does that bullshit. The Latino community go to certain parts of Florida. The Latino community run their own shit. You ain't telling them a damn thing inside of their goddamn boroughs. Go to the
Hey,
goddamn
look at the Native
Exactly.
American
go
communities. Look at the
to
Native
Jewish,
Americans. They almost been
go
blown
to
out
the
of
Jewish.
existence. They still run their own shit.
Like
Hey,
different groups
yeah.
run and have to govern their shit. Now, when certain things or certain talking points start getting way out of the goddamn containment or contingency, they shut it down. They shut it down. You know why? But they're like, that doesn't align ourselves. Like we're here to get what we need, get your ass right back in the fort. Same
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. So this. I'm telling y'all right now, man. This gender war. By the time whatever kind of you crazy ass gender war shit, this is that y'all are fighting.
It's a
BMT.
distraction. It's a
I'm telling you right
distraction
now.
Hey,
from progress.
hey,
By the time this
hey,
shit is over
BMT,
with,
BMT Mel, let
y'all
me
ain't
tell you
gonna have
something funny.
nothing left.
Let me tell you something funny. The new gender war is actually the Transformers versus the women. That's the new gender war.
Pretty much the new gender war. Men, y'all are out of the
Yeah.
gender war race.
But
You're now
because it's real funny, BMT. You got transsexual people outdoing the women in track and field. And then I remember I saw this white transsexual up there, pushing the fit at Game Exchange because he was called a sir instead of the man. And that was the same dude, the same transformer that won the national amateur women's weightlifting competition.
I think
Same,
one of the things about that, Mac, is
yeah,
Until
you see,
we shut it down.
yeah,
but Mella, but see, here's the thing about that, Mella. In all fairness, it was the woman's voice that was backpacking that type of voice. Say, hey,
That's facts. That's facts.
hey.
That's
So
facts.
so ladies,
That's
y'all
facts
gonna have
because
hmm
we, and I'm gonna
it
say
ain't
we,
us
even
women
though
that
it was,
stop that now. Go
I'm
ahead.
gonna say
hmm
we, even though it wasn't me. I'm gonna say we, right? Even though it wasn't me. I I have seen sisters that had their alternative lifestyle hairdressers, right? And
Mm.
and there's like, oh,
yeah,
and they had compassion enough for them to let them frolic and be accepted and that kind of shit, right? That acceptance shit, right? When you know that contributes to chaos. When you know in
hey,
your heart and
yeah, man.
soul that two
Mhm.
men cannot carry forward a generation. Two women
Right.
cannot carry forward a generation. I'm not trying to hate on people that just want to get their freak on. What I'm saying is the power that they have accumulated, right? The power to have changed legislation, the power to have gotten to the point where we are censored. Like we have to
Yes.
pause before we make a sentence
That's
that
powerful.
doesn't
Yes.
offend certain groups of people. That's
Right.
some goddamn power. So why is it's okay to say nigga, but it's not okay to say this, that, and the other words that we know what we talking about? You see what I'm saying?
I,
We are
mhm.
lacking, or rather, we are in the midst of being distracted from true power, and there,
Yes.
hey, it has to be
Hey,
corrected.
hey, hey,
And
Mello, check this out.
I would
Go ahead.
say, deal wisely with them. What I'm finding disturbing is that black men are speaking with an aggressive tone, you know, and I'm not going to say you're
Yeah.
frustrated. I'm not, because I don't know what it is to be a man. What I will say is I'm hearing aggressive tones about the system as it is. What I'm not hearing is what it takes to deal wisely with them. Okay. And that's what it takes. Deal wisely with them. And it takes the sacrifice of self control so that the vibrations get stronger that leads and guides you to be the leader and guide. You know,
Vibration of your
it's
flow
just really
becomes
that
quality of good
simple.
glow. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
All that.
Mello, Mello's pretty funny. I saw a funny YouTube video where this black lady was begging the Transformers in Atlanta to say some quality straight men for him, and it was just hilarious. And I told the lady in the comment, I said, "Well, honey, you was the one that was out there in that parade with them, supporting their lifestyle or whatever. And like, here's the thing about the divine force.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, women said they wanted to be equal, right? They wanted equality. Okay, it's sort of that movie, The Wishmaster. The lady wanted her heart broken, and the devil like put his fist in her chest and squashed her heart. Now they wanted equality, right? And guess what? You got men becoming transformers to beat them in the women's sports.
Well,
And
Well,
see the thing about it, the divine creator does not know about metaphors. It only deals with the literal sense.
you know what
But
confuses
like you
me?
said, Miller, you gotta be careful what you ask for when you're dealing with the vibrations and frequencies
well,
of this universe.
the thing about it is this, and I'm a pass it over to Mela.
Yeah,
Is
go ahead.
and your sugar bomb, you got a point. Like again, um, right now, man, like a lot of stuff, a
Hmm.
lot of people are feeling like I said. Like I'm gonna have a talk about that later. Email me,
Yeah.
can hang in that kind of conversation, but I gotta be very analytic about it. Again,
Yes.
it's the Esau and Jacob, doctrine. A
Jacob.
lot of
Yep,
young
that's right.
people, a lot of young people feel like, yo, I was slighted from my blessing. This kid, this guy, I was here doing X, Y, and Z, and I ain't getting shit did. Now, granted, listen. I got nothing against it. I have some friends who are of that lifestyle. Love who you love. I don't. I
Right.
got no heaven or hell to put you in. But I'm also like, I notice their doctrine of family laws and bills are being empowered. My
Yes.
imagery of family laws and bills are being depowered and told
Exactly.
Right.
that it's the old dog way. It's not needed. And so,
Right.
how is that fear that my model has been proven to produce stability, order, and structure? I'm not seeing the same results in what now is coming forth. Like my model of the olden way has been used for eons, for thousands of years on this planet.
That's
This
right.
is how
Millions
You
of
society.
years.
you know what's
Yeah.
tripped out is that
Yeah.
the people with those types of relationships, they still have the same types of calamities that people with you know traditional relationships have. They still have the domestic violence calls. They still have the oh disagreements and all this other kind of stuff. So what I'm trying to figure out is when they assert that I was born this way, I don't know the science behind it. I can't dispute it because I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So it's not
Well,
like I'm out here hating people that are practicing an alternative from traditional lifestyle. What I'm saying is I don't have the science to dispute it. And that is the part that's tripping me out because they are empowered more so than our own people as a
yeah,
collective. As a collective,
yeah,
we are outpowered by people that have alternative lifestyles that differ from traditional lifestyles. And I don't consider myself a conservative, believe it or not. What I do appreciate is uh their strength in numbers, and only a man and a woman makes a baby. Okay, so their strength in numbers, and in order to build something stronger, you have to have those numbers in order to formulate a coalition that will change the power structure in our favor. And right now, it would seem that that doesn't even matter because the numbers are on the side of those who have alternative lifestyles other than what was considered traditional. That's the way I'm going to say it because I'm
and
not
see
going
the reason why, yeah, the reason why it's like that because they formed that powerful coalition. Like I remember I was asked by my nieces why I
why is it
disapprove
they
of
can
that.
stick together but why is it they can stick together but people that value traditional families can't stick together?
It all boils down to the strength of their collective mindset. Like I told my nieces and
That's what
my nieces,
confuses me. Why is
yeah,
it they can
yeah,
together to the point where they've developed coalitions and strengths to influence legislative change, but people that are
yeah.
traditional in thought and lifestyle, we just bickering about, historical events. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's all about the cohesiveness, the cohesive frequency of the collective mindset. Because, like I say again, culture is based upon the
We don't
collective mindset.
need another goddamn history lesson, and I don't
No,
mean
no,
that
no,
in a disrespect. No, not from
I'm just,
you.
no, no,
No, I'm just thinking out
but
loud. Believe it or
yeah,
not, it's not about you.
got
I'm
you.
just saying. Every time I turn around, there's a panel after
Right.
panel after panel that's exercising their expertise about a goddamn history lesson. It's like, how many times do we have to hear
No,
about
Mela, I'm not
our
talking about history.
history?
I'm talking about metaphysics. I'm talking about
Okay,
metaphysics.
let's get back to what you're talking about. Okay, go ahead, baby.
Yeah, I'm talking about metaphysics. I'm talking about the frequency of a collective mindset. Now, think about it. If the frequency is not balanced, the collective shatters. The collective mindset shatters. That's why our community
You
is
know I
so
mentioned
messed
that
up
earlier.
because
You know I mentioned
yeah,
that earlier, right? You know
yeah,
that, right?
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
That's why
okay.
our community is so messed up because the frequency of the collective mindset is messed up because there's no synergy of true femininity and authentic masculinity. There's no synergy of the yin and the yang. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying?
Okay.
See,
Okay.
see,
Okay.
that's where my expertise from Taoism comes in to help me better understand how to have a healthy dynamic between the men and the
Okay.
women. That's
We
where it
we
starts at.
we can
Yeah,
certainly use mutual respect.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
Okay?
talking about. That's what I'm talking about synergy between
Yeah.
femininity,
It
masculinity.
starts it starts with
Yeah,
mutual respect. When
the mutual
are we
respect.
going to do it?
I don't know.
Well, see, you a
Only,
black man. You
only
can't say you. Let me tell you something. You black man can't afford to say I don't know. You better come up with some
well,
goddamn vision for our future before you get stumped the fuck out by this white folks. Okay? You can't
I figure
afford
it out.
as a black man
I
to say I